Chapter 2743. Roar, roar. Within the dark abyss, a deep roar could be heard. Roar, roar, roar. Ahead of them, behind a group of asteroids, there was a huge group of abyssal species. The abyss species were floating around, and they were so densely packed that one could not see the end of them. The first roar attracted the attention of this huge group of abyssal species. At least a few billion pairs of eyes looked over, filled with warning. This was the largest group of abyssal species in the abyss, with billions of powerful abyssal species. In the center, three-peak, undying god king abyssal species laid in the void, roaring towards the source of the sound. Roar, roar. At this time, the roar continued. A huge figure was slowly approaching. The meaning of this roar was, "Three big brothers, little brother is here to pay a visit to you, three big brothers." This roar caused the three-peak, undying god king abyssal species to be slightly suspicious. One of them stood up and looked ahead coldly. Roar, roar. The roar continued, this time towards the surrounding abyssal species. What it meant was for brothers to make way. I am going to pay a visit to the three big brothers. At the same time, a powerful aura spread out, causing the abyssal species to reveal a look of fear. The incomer was naturally Emo Shah. Roar, roar. A warning voice came from the abyssal species that stood up. Emo Shah roared. His voice was a little subservient, as he flew towards the three-peak, undying god king abyssal species. The three abyssal species stared at him suspiciously. Roar, roar. Three big brothers. A brother over there asked me to give this to you. That brother said that a human is going to kill him and his species tomorrow. He hopes that the three big brothers can go and support him, Emo Shah said, as he respectfully placed the huge corpse in front of them. Roar. The three-peak, undying god king abyssal species looked at Emo Shah, then at the corpse. This was the corpse of a rank 8 undying god king abyssal species, killed by an imperial court expert. Roar. One of the undying god king abyssal species raised its head and swallowed the corpse. The other two did the same. Roar, roar. Demon Fiend roared from the side. In order to swindle these three-peak, undying god king abyss species, he had paid a huge price. Next, Demon Fiend continued to lure the three undying god king, peak abyss beasts to attack the humans together and complete Lord God Emperor's orders. From time to time, he would try to please them with all kinds of words. Thus, within the abyss, low roars rang out incessantly. Time passed very quickly. Demonic Fiend kept talking. He was just short of selling his body. Dragon King, the teleportation device has been set up. I have connected it to the main Dragon Palace. Once we encounter an Emperor God level crisis, we can escape to the main Dragon Palace instantly. The next morning, the Heavenly Array told Wang Xian a piece of good news. Very well. Since that's the case, let's get ready to move. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and said immediately, yes. Tianjin nodded. All disciples of Dragon Palace, get ready for battle. Wang Xian ordered all the members of the Dragon Palace. It's Dragon King. In the Dragon Peak, all the members of Dragon Palace responded with fighting spirit. Depart. Tianjin bellowed as Long Feng flew forward slowly. The surface area of the Dragon Peak was comparable to a planet. It was much larger than the meteorites in front. The Dragon Peak headed straight for the large abyss beasts. Wang Wang. At this moment, the communication stone plate in front of Wang Xian sent two messages. The Imperial Court was attacking a large abyss beasts. At the same time, the Sky Edge sect and Night Clan were also attacking a group of abyss beasts. The Sky Edge sect and Night Clan had mobilized a total of 4 Undying God King Peak Abyss Beasts. They were prepared to kill the Undying God King Peak Abyss Beasts. Moreover, their strength was not any weaker than the Imperial Court. There were 13 level 9 Undying God Kings, and even more level 8 and level 7 Undying God Kings. They were determined to win. I wonder how Demon Fiend is doing over there. Wang Xian murmured. He retracted his thoughts and stared at the abyss before him. Later, surround that Undying God King, Peak Abyss Beasts, and use Heaven's Edge Ruler. Roving Heavens, I will control the dragon machinery and kill them quickly. However, it's best to conceal yourself completely and not expose your strength. Wang Xian said to Tianjun. Don't worry, Dragon King. At such a distance, even the God Emperors won't be able to spy on us if we surround them. Tianjun nodded. Wang Xian nodded and landed on the screen in front of Tianjun. The screen could detect the abyss beasts in the surroundings. They were only half an hour away from their target. Half an hour was not a short distance. In fact, it was very far. Almost there. Let's charge over. Half an hour later, densely packed red dots appeared on the screen in front of Tianjun. With a stern look in his eyes, he drove Dragon Peak directly toward the huge meteorite in front of him. Boom! The meteorite crumbled instantly. The 200 million abyss beasts ahead had already noticed Dragon Peak's arrival. The leading Undying God King, Peak Abyss Beast, had also noticed Dragon Peak's arrival. However, the aura that Dragon Peak exuded did not make it feel threatened. It stared at Dragon Peak, who was charging towards them, lifted its head, and let out a roar. In an instant, the 200 million abyss beasts let out deafening roars and charged towards Dragon Peak. Members of the Celestial Eye Arrow Unit, fire, kill. Starwood Dragon species, kill. Spike Dragon, conceal yourselves and get ready to hunt. Mao Zedong, Ao Xingmu, and Ao Yao commanded. This was not their first time in battle. They did not need Wang Xian to give the order. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, countless arrows shot towards the front. Every arrow carried a terrifying penetrative and offensive power. Thistles and thorns extended from the Dragon Peak, directly covering the front. Dragon King, Qi Tian, do it. Tianjin waved his arm. In front of the abyss, terrifying thorns formed into a huge, thorny monster. 3 thorny monsters formed rapidly and locked on to the pinnacle Undying God King Peak Abyss Beast. They immediately surrounded it. When the pinnacle Undying God King Peak Abyss Beast saw the incoming thorns, it was hesitant. However, at that moment, the 3 bramble monsters had already arrived before it. Thorns began to wrap around it, wrapping around it. Let's go. Wang Xian shouted and flew towards the space surrounded by the 3 thorny monsters with roving heavens. Dragon Machine, Wang Xian shouted again. The humongous dragon machine appeared in front of him. With a swift movement, he entered the head position. Wang, a bloodline connection was felt. Kill. Wang Xian stared coldly at the pinnacle Undying God King Peak Abyss Beast. Chapter 2744. Kill. Charging into the encirclement of the 3 thorn monsters, Wang Xian roared with battle intent. Entering the body of the dragon, he could feel the aura of an Undying God King Pinnacle Stage expert. With a thought, the armor-like dragon directly attacked the Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species. Terrifying destructive power, incomparably powerful aura. Roar, roar. The Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species let out a furious roar and met Wang Xian's attack. Pung! A huge collision sound resounded, and the body of the Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species was sent flying. Wang Xian was slightly stunned when he saw this, then he squinted his eyes. Just by relying on the strength of the dragon, as long as he had enough time, he could kill this abyss species. This made Wang Xian recall the time when the Heaven Formation was used against the dragon. The Heaven Formation relied on the Dragon Peak Formation. Each thorn monster could kill an existence of the same level alone. But against the dragon, it was not done in half an hour, and he had to use all his strength to capture it. The dragon's strength could be said to be able to withstand the attacks of 3 Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species. This was also the reason why Wang Xian controlled the dragon to clash with the Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species, causing it to be sent flying. Kill it in 2 minutes. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he roared. Roar, roar. Roving heavens roared, his huge body, the ocean-stabilizing godly pillar wrapped in blood-red chains, attacked the Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species. Wang, on the heaven's edge ruler, roving heavens and the rest floated above, attacking one after another. Around them, 3 thorn monsters that could kill an existence of the same level waved their thorns and attacked as well. In an instant, the surroundings of the Undying God King Pinnacle Stage Abyss species were completely covered. There was no space to escape. Roar, roar. The undying god king pinnacle stage abyss species saw this, and its eyes were filled with fear as it roared. Pung, pung, pung. In the next instant, attacks landed on its body, causing it to let out cries of pain. It was not something it could defend against. Against Wang Xian and the rest, this undying god king pinnacle stage abyss species had no way of defending. Looks like it won't even take 2 minutes. Wang Xian looked at the abyss species at the pinnacle of the god king realm who couldn't put up any resistance. With a smile on his face, he launched an attack. Outside, Dragon Palace's 60,000 undying god kings were fighting against the 200 million abyss monsters. Among the 200 million, there were less than 20,000 undying god kings. All Ninth Order Immortal God King realm experts were locked down by the Dragon Palace experts. When the whistling sound of arrows rang out, millions of abyssal monsters were killed. In the surrounding area, more than 10,000 spike dragons were like ghosts, easily hunting down the abyss species. No abyssal species could escape their assassination. The entire abyss race was quickly harvested. However, just as the Dragon Palace was fighting with a large group of abyssal race, millions of Imperial Court experts, led by the Imperial Court protectors, attacked another group of abyssal race in the middle. Compared to the battle at Dragon Palace, they were even more shocked. It was a shocking number. Ha ha ha, brother Fengyazi, let's kill this pinnacle of the God King realm abyss species in 5 minutes. At the same time, Sky Edge Sect and Night Clan's army had also arrived before a large group of abyssal race. The Night Clan leader laughed and said to the 2 old ancestors from Sky Edge Sect. They locked their eyes on a pinnacle of the God King realm abyss species and attacked it together. All right, finish it in 5 minutes. To avoid any accidents, end it quickly. The old ancestors from Sky Edge Sect and the rest roared as they locked their eyes on the pinnacle of the God King realm abyss species. Boom! Just as the Sky Edge Sect and Night Clan clashed with the large group of abyssal race, the entire abyss suddenly shone brightly. A ray of light instantly flew towards the depths of the abyss. Roar! Following which, an earth-shattering roar resounded, causing the entire abyss to tremble. Huh! At this moment, the entire battlefield was shaking. Is this a contest between the Imperial Court God Emperors and the Abyss Race God Emperors? Wang Xian was taken aback by the area covered by the thorns. Subsequently, he squinted his eyes. Kill. The Imperial Court's great ancestor is restraining the God Emperor level abyssal species. Kill. In the Night Clan's Utinya sect, all the Night Clan's leaders who knew about the Night Clan roared with glowing eyes. All disciples, don't hold back. Kill. Kill. All the experts of the Night Clan roared with fighting spirit. The 2 Sky Edge ancestors and the Night Clan leader attacked even more violently. The Peak God King species that was besieged let out a furious roar. Below, his subordinates were being killed one by one. If Tianya and the Night Clan worked together, it would be easy for them to destroy an undying God King abyss species. Roar. 3 big brothers, my little brother is asking for help. The humans are attacking them. Let's go and save him. 3 big brothers, it was this brother of mine who gave you the delicacies yesterday. Let's rush over and devour more delicious humans. Roar. 3 bosses, let's rush over. At the same time, in a corner of the abyss, an undying God King abyss species surrounded 3 other abyss species of the same level and roared nonstop, transmitting information to them. The 3 Peak God King abyss species were hesitant as they looked towards the same direction. Roar. Finally, the Peak Undying God King abyss species in the middle raised its head and roared. Roar. Around it, countless abyss species raised their heads and roared with killing intent. The Peak God King abyss species' eyes lit up when it saw this. 3 big brothers, let's go and destroy these humans. Go, go, go. This Peak God King abyss species was naturally Emo Shah. He roared and charged towards the direction of Sky Edge and Night Clan. The other 3 immediately followed. Rumble. Under the lead of the 3 Peak God King abyss species, the entire race followed behind. 3 big brothers, I will lead my subordinates to block their path of retreat and obtain more delicacies. Emo Shah roared. His subordinates, who were not far from him, immediately responded and flew towards the rear of the Sky Edge sect and the Night Clan. Emo Shah had the information from Bachi and the others about their positions and combat strength. Naturally, he knew how to deal with them. Roar. The other three-peak God King Abyss species responded and stared at the battlefield with bloodthirsty eyes. Chapter 2745. Ha ha ha, we're injured. Brothers, let's work harder. Within the abyss, Night Clan leader and an old ancestor attacked the peak Undying God King Abyss seed in front of them. Seeing large amounts of blood flowing out of its body, they became excited. All right. The two old ancestors from Sky Horizon roared with smiles on their faces. Ever since Yi Long returned from the island, the future of the World Edge sect had been bright. Today, they had two choices. One was to join Night Clan and become a relative outside of Night Clan. With Night Clan Void God Emperor's favor, Night Clan would not mistreat them and would even treat them with great importance. Two was to rebuild Sky Horizon's glory, and Night Clan Void God Emperor would also help them. Their Sky Horizon was bright. Hunting these abyssal species could also accumulate resources for the World Edge sect. Hong hong hong. The attacks of the four landed on the peak Undying God King Abyss seed in front of them. They were so strong that it could only barely defend. At most half an hour, we can wipe out this entire race. Their eyes were filled with excitement as they roared. Ho ho ho. But all of a sudden, a series of roars could be heard. The roars were getting closer and closer, causing the entire Night Clan and Sky Horizon to be slightly shocked. What's going on? The four-peak Undying God King sensed this and their expressions changed. They immediately turned towards the direction of the roars. But at the next moment, they widened their eyes. Damn, what's going on? Their gazes swept over, and their expressions instantly changed. They stared at the dark abyssal race with embarrassed expressions. The three-peak Undying God King Abyss seeds were even faster. They could predict that in at most 10 seconds, the three-peak Undying God King Abyss seeds would be able to fly over. Damn it! Why is there such a huge tribe charging towards us? Damn it! The leader of the Night Clan growled with an ugly expression. His heart sank a little. Damn, why is this happening? Such a huge race. Not good, Night Clan leader. We are not their match. Sky Horizon Old Ancestor Feng Yazi swept his gaze over and roared. All disciples, retreat immediately. All disciples retreat immediately. The patriarch of the Night Clan gritted his teeth, clenched his fists, and roared loudly. Let's stop these three-peak Undying God King Abyss beasts first. One of the Night Clan's old ancestors had an ugly expression on his face as he charged towards the three-peak God King abyssal species. The two patriarchs of the World Edge sect immediately followed. The arrival of the three Undying God King Pinnacle Abyss species had completely shattered their situation. Most importantly, the strength of this group was too strong. It was not something that the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect could resist. At this time, all the disciples had to quickly retreat, otherwise they would suffer heavy losses. There's news from the Imperial Court that the abyssal species in the Abyss might have evolved. It seems like it's true. The leader of the Night Clan thought to himself with an ugly expression. Last time, the Imperial dynasty had suffered heavy losses, and it was similar to their current situation. During the battle, a large number of abyss monsters suddenly appeared and attacked. As a result, almost all of the 200,000 Imperial Court experts and disciples were killed. Who would have thought that they would run into him today? Run, run. The group of experts and disciples looked to the right and their expressions changed drastically. Without the slightest hesitation, they immediately fled toward the rear under the protection of the experts from the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect. Sneaky attack, However, at this time, Emo Shah led a group of abyssal species and flew over silently. Under his control and the group of venom-horned dragons, none of the abyssal species dared to roar or expose their berserk position. Emo Shah and the huge abyssal species separated from the start and flew closer to the edge of the abyss. When he saw the experts from the Sky Edge sect and the Night Clan retreating, his face was filled with ferocious excitement. Roar, roar, roar. Little ones, kill them. Seeing that the distance between them and the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect was closing in, Emo Shah roared ferociously. Boom! In the next moment, he attacked the experts from the two great forces in front of him with a terrifying aura. This time, the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect had sent a total of 2 million elites. Most of them were disciples of the Night Clan. Oh no, there's another abyssal species here. Clan leader, patriarch, help. There's another peak undying god king abyssal species here. When Emo Shah flew towards them, the faces of the experts and disciples of the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect changed drastically. Their faces were instantly filled with fear. A peak undying god king abyssal species was flying towards them. What awaited them was a massacre. Boom! The demon fiend raised his head and spat out a ball of sulfuric-smelling flames in front of him. In an instant, hundreds of thousands of experts and disciples were shrouded by the sulfuric flame. Dodge! Dodge immediately! Everyone who was retreating in an orderly manner shouted in fear. The experts tried their best to dodge the terrifying sulfuric flame. Arg! However, Emo Shah's attack instantly hit 2 to 300,000 experts and disciples. They screamed in pain, and some died immediately. Boom! The flame on his body rushed towards the group of Sky Edge and Night Clan disciples. The flame enveloped the surrounding corpses and absorbed them into his interspatial ring. Oh no! Damn it! Why is there another race? At this time, the great ancestor of the Yi clan, who was in front, looked over and roared with bloodshot eyes. Old brother Yi, we will block these three-peak, undying god king abyssal species. You go and support them. The two old ancestors from the Sky Edge sect looked over and their hearts sank. Bastard, die! The Night Clan old ancestor did not hesitate and rushed over with a furious expression. Any later, and the entire Night Clan and Sky Edge sect disciples would be slaughtered by that peak, undying god king abyssal species. Kakik! Emo Shah saw an undying god king abyssal species rushing over and laughed sinisterly. With a sweep of his tail, hundreds of thousands of experts were instantly killed. I will block that peak undying god king. You guys kill those from the Night Clan and Sky Edge. 2 consecutive attacks killed hundreds of thousands of Night Clan and Sky Edge sect disciples. Emo Shah saw the Night Clan old ancestor flying over and transmitted his voice to the back. Behind him, Emo Shah's entire race had also arrived. In just tens of seconds, he had killed 500,000 to 600,000 people from Sky Edge and Night Clan. All disciples, flee. All experts, lead your disciples and escape from the abyss. The Night Clan patriarch looked down and roared with a solemn expression. Chapter 2746. Inside the Abyss, the area where the Night Clan and Sky Border sect disciples were at was a scene of carnage. The sudden appearance of Emo Shah and the rest had resulted in the deaths of many of the disciples from the two factions. Especially under such circumstances, the sudden appearance of Emo Shah had stopped them from retreating. At this moment, the billions of abyssal species in front of them had already rushed over. Most importantly, on the right side of their retreat route, more than 100 million abyssal species were attacking them. At this moment, everyone from the Sky Border sect and Night Clan had ugly expressions, their hearts pounding. Why were they so unlucky? All disciples, follow me. Fly towards the left and find a chance to retreat from the abyss. An elder of the Night Clan shouted in a deep voice when he saw this scene. All elders and deacons, stay behind and defend against the abyss species attacks. Another elder of the Night Clan roared. Yes, yes. A series of replies rang out as all the experts moved to the back and launched their attacks towards the abyss species. All experts, lead the weaker disciples and fly as fast as possible. Sky Border sect leader roared as he swept his gaze across. Yes. The group of undying god kings immediately led the remaining disciples to escape towards the left. Behind them, a group of abyssal species roared and let out a deafening roar in unison. Countless energy blasted forward. The group of experts from the forces that brought up the rear resisted with difficulty for a moment before immediately escaping. However, at this moment, an elder of the Night Clan suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream as his body was sent flying backwards, Fifth elder. A few deacons looked over and their faces changed. But at this time, 5 undying god king abyss species pounced towards that elder. Damn it. Let's go. Old 5, we will take revenge for you. A sorrowful voice could be heard as the rest of the elders turned and fled. At this time, they could not send reinforcements, or they would be overwhelmed by the endless abyss species. A level 9 undying god king. The 5 level 9 undying god king abyss species pounced over and killed the Night Clan elder. One of them transmitted a message with a smile in his eyes. Continue. Kill. Another abyss species transmitted a message, and the 5 of them continued charging forward. Beast, beast. At the side, seeing the disciples of their own faction fleeing for their lives and the death of an elder, their expressions were incomparably furious. As they fought, they guided their disciples in the direction of their retreat, paying attention to their situation. Not long after, a few more screams sounded out. 2 deacons and an elder had fallen. Roar. If this goes on, even if we can escape, we will suffer heavy losses. In the sky, the Night Clan Master and the Great Ancestor felt their hearts bleeding. We, the Night Clan, are requesting for reinforcements. If you are willing to lend us a hand, we will repay you tenfold. The leader of the Night Clan roared with a gloomy face. His cry for help spread far and wide. What had happened to the Night Clan? The Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect have joined forces. This time, they have the most peak stage god kings on their side. What's going on now? At the center, the 2 protectors of the Imperial dynasty were slightly shocked when they heard the cry for help. They were well aware of the strength of the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect. Could it be that other tribes have gone to attack them? The 2 exchanged glances and were slightly shocked. But at this moment, they could not leave. Behind them, the experts and disciples of the Imperial dynasty were also slightly shocked. Success? At this moment, at the location of the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian looked at the dying peak stage undying god king abyss species. When he heard the cry, he raised his eyebrows and smiled. The Night Clan's cry for help meant that Emo Shah had brought them great trouble. Dragon King, it's done. At this moment, Roving Heavens said with a smile. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept the corpse of the peak stage undying god king abyss species. Let's get rid of the other abyss species, he said with a smile. While the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect were in deep trouble, the Dragon Palace was reaping the fruits. After getting rid of the peak stage undying god king abyss species, Roving Heavens started hunting the rest. This was easy for him. The group of rank 9 undying god king abyss species were easily killed by Roving Heavens. What happened next was a one-sided massacre. In less than 5 minutes, over 200 million abyss species corpses were collected. 1 peak stage undying god king abyss species and 13 rank 9 undying god king abyss species. After this, I'll have 2 Laozu of the Sky Edge sect parasitized. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and said with a smile. Once the parasitized the Sky Edge sect, the Dragon Palace would be able to grasp more information and take more initiative. Dragon King, there's a large number of abyss species flying towards us from the right. Just as Wang Xian flew to the command platform of the Dragon Peak, Tianjin said, Wang Xian looked at the screen in front of him. There were dense red dots on it, and these red dots were moving towards him rapidly. He lifted his head and looked to the right before squinting his eyes. What a spectacular sight. Gradually, figures appeared in Wang Xian's sight. A group of more than 1 million people was frantically flying towards them, followed by billions of abyssal species. And in the sky, there was a huge battle. 4 Pinnacle God King experts against 5 Pinnacle God King abyss species. Seems like Emo Shah did well this time, Wang Xian murmured with a smile on his face. Now that the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect were enemies, the more casualties they suffered, the more advantageous it would be for the Dragon Palace. There's a huge mountain ahead. That's the Dragon Peak, the Dragon Peak. At this moment, at the very front of the World Edge sect's Yi clan, which had more than 1 million people fleeing, an elder brought young Master Yi along as they fled. The elder looked ahead and suddenly saw a huge mountain towering in the abyss. He growled in a low voice. The Dragon Peak of the Dragon Palace? Yi Xiaohuang asked with a gloomy face. Yes, it's the Dragon Peak. The Dragon Palace has pinnacle Immortal King experts. If they are willing to help, we'll be saved. That elder shouted with his eyes wide open. The Dragon Palace will save us? Yi Xiaohuang's expression changed. The faces of the elders at the side were also extremely ugly. We, the Night Clan, request for reinforcements from the Dragon Palace. That elder gritted his teeth. At this time, he could only try his best. Interesting. Asking for reinforcements from us? Wang Xian sneered when he heard the elder of the Night Clan. What a bunch of fools. He shouted directly. Chapter 2747. What a bunch of fools. When Wang Xian bellowed, his words reverberated in the ears of everyone in the vicinity. Everyone from the Night Clan heard this sarcastic remark, and their faces turned ugly. The leader of a force called them a bunch of fools? If word got out, the Night Clan wouldn't be able to afford it. However, some experts and disciples of the Night Clan also understood that it was too difficult to get Dragon Palace to help them, mainly because they were too close to the Sky Edge sect. But the core disciples also knew why they were so close to the Sky Edge sect. This Dragon King deserves to die. Young Emperor Yi, who was running at the front, roared with murderous intent. They didn't have high hopes, but Dragon King's public humiliation infuriated them. But they couldn't do anything about it. Wait for Lao Zu to become an emperor and destroy Dragon Palace first. The old man beside young Emperor Yi roared with a gloomy face. Damn it! In the sky, the leader and Lao Zu of the Night Clan, who were struggling to fend off the 5 pinnacle Immortal King God King Abyss species, heard this. Let's go. We'll lure the 5 pinnacle Immortal King God King Abyss species to the Dragon Peak and let Dragon Palace attract some firepower. Those 5 pinnacle Immortal King God King Abyss species will definitely attack the Dragon Peak. At that time, Dragon Palace will have to take action. Once we have one person free, we can lead the disciples to escape. At this moment, old ancestor Sky Edge, Feng Yazi's voice rang in their minds. Feng Yazi and the rest were filled with hatred towards Dragon Palace. Now that there was a chance to cause trouble for Dragon Palace, they were naturally happy to see it. All right, let's go. We'll lure these beasts towards the Dragon Peak. The leader of the Night Clan did not hesitate and immediately shifted the battlefield towards the Dragon Peak. For a war of this level, the speed of shifting the battlefield was very fast. Especially against the Abyss species, it was much easier. Dragon King. They want to lure the 5 pinnacle Immortal King God King Abyss species towards us. At this moment, Tianjun saw the 9 pinnacle Immortal King God King Abyss species moving towards them. Given the size of the Dragon Peak, it would definitely be affected if the battle of this level took place near the Dragon Peak. They wanted to force Dragon Palace to take action. Wang Xian bellowed with a murderous look in his eyes. Experts of the Night Clan, experts of the world's edge, I advise you not to bring the battlefield here. He opened his mouth and shouted coldly. Ha ha ha, we are not a match for this group of abyssal species. We were not led here. We were forced here. The leader of the Night Clan laughed out loud, trying to disassociate himself from this matter. If that's the case, we'll help you deal with these 5-peak, undying God King Abyss creatures. However, in order to prevent our Dragon Palace disciples from being attacked by other abyssal species, we need to defend. Upon hearing his words, Wang Xian smiled eerily. He gestured to the heavenly formation beside him. Ha ha ha, we're here to help you. Don't let the other abyssal species hinder us. Heavenly formation waved his arm, and all the disciples of Dragon Peak fled in the same direction. 3 bramble monsters instantly manifested. So. At this time, Ao Xingmu took the lead and rushed out. All the other Starwood dragons flew out at the same time. A series of thorns appeared in front of them, forming an incomparably powerful thorns defense. This defense covered an area of over 1 billion square kilometers, blocking all the escape routes of the disciples and experts of the Night Clan and Sky Edge sects. Dragon Palace, what are you doing? The members of Dragon Palace suddenly made a move, and a barrier appeared in front of them. In the sky, the leader of the Night Clan saw this, and his expression changed as he roared with killing intent. Of course, We're preparing to help you deal with the peak undying god king abyss species. Wang Xian stared at the leader of the Night Clan and said sarcastically, "Rumble." As he spoke, the three bramble monsters flew up into the sky slowly. Dragon Palace was indeed preparing to deal with a peak undying god king abyss species. Emosha, we'll kill one. Don't let the experts of the Night Clan and Sky Edge go down to support. At the same time, Heavenly Formation transmitted his voice to Emosha. Demon Fiend nodded without a trace. Roving Heavens, go and cooperate with Heavenly Formation to kill that peak undying god king abyss species. Aojian, bring Sky Edge Ruler and Dragon Tool over too. Wang Xian squinted his eyes, waved his arm, and passed the mother nest to Aojian. Yes, Dragon King. Roving Heavens replied. Aojian led the three Ninth Order Undying God King realm experts and flew up into the sky. That expert from the Night Clan. Our Dragon Palace will help you deal with a peak undying god king abyss species. Heavenly Formation said to the old ancestor of the Night Clan. He controlled the three bramble monsters to attack one of the peak undying god king abyss species. The three bramble monsters immediately attracted the attention of the three bramble monsters, and the surroundings were covered with brambles, forming an independent space. Roving Heavens, Aojian, and the rest moved and entered the space covered with brambles. Seeing that the Dragon Palace was really making a move, the leader of the Night Clan and the rest were slightly stunned. Dragon King, remove your defenses immediately. Now, however, the leader of the Night Clan bellowed as he looked down with an ugly expression. I'm sorry, I'm an array master. I need to control the three bramble monsters formed by the array. At this time, we can't let the other abyss species near us. We're just helping you guys. Heavenly Formation chuckled and said, Damn it, they're doing it on purpose. The leader of the Night Clan and the rest cursed with a gloomy expression. The Dragon Palace was doing it on purpose. However, the Dragon Palace did help them fend off a peak undying god king abyss species. Even if others saw it, they couldn't say anything. After all, the Night Clan and Sky Edge sect were the ones who lured the battlefield here. The other party was an array master. What else could they say? The array master who was getting close to them was extremely weak. The Night Clan was obviously trying to trick the Dragon Palace, and the Dragon Palace was doing the same to the Night Clan. Clan leader, old ancestor, save us. At this time, the ones who were the most panicking were undoubtedly the millions of people who were fleeing below. They saw the huge defense in front of them blocking their way. If they were to pause for even a moment, they would be drowned by the countless abyss species behind them. Everyone was terrified. I'll pull myself out. You guys help me fend off the abyss species in front of me. I just need to hold them off for tens of seconds. The leader of the Night Clan looked over, gritted his teeth, and shouted. With one less peak undying god king abyss species, the pressure on them was greatly reduced. At this time, there was a chance for one of them to pull himself out and rescue the disciples. All right. Old Ancestor Sky Edge and Old Ancestor of the Night Clan responded immediately. The three of them were prepared to hold off the four-peak, undying god king abyss species. However, at this time, an extremely violent roar was heard. Emosha went berserk. Chapter 2748. Emosha's peak god king abyss species had been fighting against old ancestor Wu Lin Jeans peacefully. Now that he saw the Night Clan leader trying to escape from an undying god king to save his disciples, he went berserk. A wave of energy shot towards the Night Clan leader. Damn it! Stop right there. Wu Lin Jin's face turned cold when he saw Emosha attacking the Night Clan leader. Terrifying flames burst out from his pagoda and shot towards Emosha. Emosha tried to defend himself, but he continued to attack the Night Clan leader. Bastard! The Night Clan leader's face changed drastically. The abyss species looked ordinary just now, but it suddenly went berserk and prevented him from saving his disciples. This infuriated him. Clan leader, old ancestor, save us. Right at this moment, screams for help rang out once more. The Night Clan leader looked over and his eyes turned bloodshot. The Night Clan disciples and World's Edge disciples had already reached the defensive line set up by the Dragon Palace. Against such a terrifying defense, they couldn't break it. Just as they stopped, the abyss species behind them attacked. The elders and deacons at the back were the first to be attacked. But even with the Night Clan's top experts at the back, they couldn't hold on for long against the overwhelming attacks, especially the Venom Horn Dragon and the others. They attacked an elder or deacon in groups of 5 or 6. Against such attacks, even an undying God King Realm Elder couldn't hold on for long. Since the start of their escape, 4 elders had died. This time, they had 9 elders with them. As for the Sky Edge sect leader and the 3 elders, they weren't attacked. After all, they were on the same side. They're catching up. They're catching up. Terrified voices came from the mouths of the 1,000,000 disciples. At this moment, the Night Clan disciples had lost all will to fight. Elders and deacons were dying one after another, while billions of abyss species were chasing after them. They didn't have the strength to resist. Their only goal now was to run. Run with all their might. Damn the Dragon Palace. They've blocked our way. Elder, old ancestor, we can't hold on for long. The elder deacon at the back roared with a face full of fear. As soon as he finished speaking, countless abyssal species had already pounced on him. Everyone, don't panic. Resist. Wait for the old ancestor and patriarch's rescue. The elder at the front roared in a threatening manner. Damn it, damn it, damn it. In the sky, the violent demonic aura blocked the Night Clan leader's reinforcements. His face was filled with rage. He looked down at the ground. The abyss species had already clashed with the disciples. In just an instant of collision, hundreds of thousands of disciples had died. Even though a group of powerhouses and disciples had killed hundreds of thousands of abyss species, there were just too many of them. The largest abyssal race in this area of the abyss, along with the demonic fiends and the abyssal race that had been attacked, made up a total of 3 races. There were more than 69th Order Undying God King Realm experts. What could they use to resist? Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, waves of terrifying attacks from the abyss race covered the front. There were at least 20 Undying God King Level 9 abyss beasts attacking together. No. The elders and deacons at the forefront felt their hearts skip a beat when they saw this terrifying attack. Beast, get out of my way. The Night Clan leader could no longer sit still. He stretched out his arm and a finger turned into a dazzling golden radiance. This finger detached itself and shot towards Demonic Fiend. Demonic Fiend felt the threat from this finger. His face changed and he hurriedly dodged to the side. Whoosh! Boom! The golden finger tore through the air. Demonic Fiend tried to dodge, but the speed was too terrifying. The entire tail immediately exploded violently and burst apart. Roar, roar. Demonic Fiend felt the intense pain and let out a cry of agony. He did not dare to continue. Boom, boom, boom. But at this moment, the sound of explosions and cries could be heard from below. The Night Clan leader looked over with his bloodshot eyes, and his body trembled uncontrollably. More than 1,000,000 people, at least half of them died under this terrifying attack, especially the Undying God King experts. This time, their losses were too great. Roar. He roared and his body shone with golden radiance, looking extremely terrifying. Clan leader, save us. The disciples screamed in fear when they saw the clan leader flying over. Let's go. The Night Clan leader waved his golden radiance and enveloped everyone. A majestic force moved them to the side. However, the countless abyss species did not show any signs of fear when they saw the Undying God King experts, especially the 9th Order Undying God King abyss species. They unleashed their attacks one after another. The Night Clan leader's face changed as he waved his arm. Boom. The thorny defense set up by the Dragon Palace members in front was directly broken. He led all the disciples and flew forward. He was an Undying God King, but against more than 69th Order Undying God Kings and countless abyss species, he had no choice but to run. Suddenly, a cry of agony could be heard from above. The abrupt voice stunned everyone, including all the abyssal species. The Night Clan leader and the rest widened their eyes as they looked towards the source of the cry. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. What they saw was a space filled with thorny vines. But at this moment, the vines retracted. Everyone saw that inside, there was an incomparably huge corpse lying there quietly. A pinnacle undying god king abyss species, dead? Hee hee, I wanted to help you guys after killing this pinnacle undying god king abyss species. Seems like there's no need for that. Wang Xian looked over and said with a faint smile on his face as he looked at the leader of the Yi clan. The Night clan leader's face changed drastically as he looked at the corpse with fear. How long had it been? Was it even 2 minutes? A pinnacle undying god king abyss species was killed by the Dragon Palace. This strength. The Dragon Palace actually killed a pinnacle undying god king abyss species so quickly. They're so strong. The Night Clan and Sky Edge sect disciples who were shrouded in golden radiance were shocked to see this scene. Haha, let's go. Wang Xian let out a hearty laugh and said, Wang, roving heavens and the rest kept the corpse and entered Dragon Peak. Dragon Peak rumbled and flew out of the abyss. As for the abyss species, they could not catch up with Dragon Peak's speed. In order to avoid any accidents, he did not continue to hunt the abyss species. After all, the Night Clan and Sky Edge sect would not join forces with them to hunt the abyss species. Chapter 2749. Wonderful pop-up window. Let's go. Seeing Dragon Peak leave, the Night Clan leader and the rest turned pale, not daring to stay any longer. He led the group of disciples and flew out. The Sky Edge ancestor and the Night Clan ancestor quickly shook off the four-peak, undying god king abyss creatures and fled. Roar! Seeing them escape, countless abyss monsters roared and chased after them. However, with the peak god king experts leading the way, they managed to put some distance between them. Damn Dragon Palace! If not for them, after shaking off the abyss creatures, the Night Clan ancestor roared in anger. He did not finish his sentence. Without the Dragon Palace, they would have suffered heavy losses as well. This time, we have become the Dragon Palace's pawns, one of the Sky Edge ancestors said with a dark expression. This time, they had suffered heavy losses while hunting the abyss creatures. In the end, the Dragon Palace made use of this opportunity to kill a peak, undying god king abyss creature. Patriarch, 6 of our elders have fallen, 18 deacons have fallen, and over 8,000 undying god kings have fallen. At this moment, an elder flew over from the front and said with an incomparably ugly expression, Cough, cough, cough. Our Night Clan will remember this grudge. The Night Clan leader said coldly. The loss this time was a huge blow to the Night Clan, especially the 9th Order Undying God King Realm experts, a total of 6. Even though the Night Clan was stronger than the other sects, losing 6 9th Order Undying God King Realm experts was a huge loss. Before the war, they had not lost a single 9th Order Undying God King Realm expert for tens of millions of years. Father, after the ancestor gets stronger, we will kill that Dragon King and the Dragon Palace. Young Emperor Yi flew over and said with a ferocious look on his face. The Night Clan leader nodded coldly, looking at his broken finger, his expression turning even uglier. Using a secret technique to break off a finger was a loss that was hard to recover from. Dragon King, we've earned big this time, huh? One side rejoiced, while the other side was worried. On Dragon Peak, even the heavenly matrix cracked a smile. This time, they had just annihilated a large tribe, a peak Undying God King Realm Abyss species, 13 9th Order Undying God King Realm Abyss species, and over 200 million Abyss species. Finally, they killed another Undying God King Abyss species. In other words, just these resources alone were enough for Dragon Palace to gain 3 immortal God Kings. The number of other experts was even greater. And Wang Xian revealed a smile on his face. He had indeed gained a lot this time around. Also, Dragon King, I feel that after this battle, Demon Sha can return. Tianjun suggested from the side. Indeed, it's time to come back. He nodded slightly. Today's battle was initiated together with Imperial Court, Night Clan, and Tianya. God Emperor experts had personally entered the depths of the abyss to suppress the battle. Normally, if the Dragon Palace were to attack a group of abyssal race like this, they would most likely be targeted by the Emperor God in the depths of the abyss. Even if they didn't target them, The Dragon Palace would suffer heavy losses as long as the God Emperor in the Abyss gave the order. Demon Fiend seems to have quite a lot of resources, Tianjin said. Wang Xian nodded. Previously, Demon Fiend had caused the imperial court to suffer heavy losses. He should have obtained quite a number of corpses. In addition to his current tribe, there were more than 100 million abyssal species. It was another huge harvest. I wonder how many pinnacle undying god kings I can add. Wang Xian murmured and immediately sent a message to Demon Fiend. At the same time, Demon Fiend in the Abyss received Wang Xian's message and squinted his eyes. Kids, get ready. Kill all the abyssal species and let's go back. Demon Fiend immediately sent a message to all his members. Yes, boss. The group of Venom Horn Dragons answered immediately. Subsequently, Demon Fiend led all his underlings to an extremely secretive place. With a command, they began the massacre. The stronger ones in this tribe were all parasitized by the Venom Horn Dragons. A total of more than 8,000 Venom Horn Dragons controlled their bodies and killed all the other abyssal species in less than a minute. After keeping the corpses, they immediately flew out. According to the coordinates sent by Wang Xian, Demon Fiend and the rest flew over in less than an hour. Dragon King. Demon Fiend flew over with a smile on his face. Sky Formation, how many resources do you have on your side? Before Wang Xian could reply, Sky Formation could not help but ask. Kiki, Dragon King, I've gotten quite a lot of resources this time. 1 Pinnacle Undying God King Abyss Species Corpse, 25 Rank 9 Undying God King Abyss Species Corpses. Demon Fiend could not help but laugh. 1 Pinnacle Undying God King Corpse was the one he parasitized. Other than that, there were 10 Rank 9 Undying God King corpses. In addition to the corpses from the Night Clan, the Imperial Court corpses, and the other abyssal species corpses, there were a total of 25 Rank 9 Undying God King corpses. Adding Demon Fiend, Roving Heavens, Dragon Machinery, 8 Limitless God Kings. With the resources I have, I can produce 7 Pinnacle Undying God Kings. Dragon King, I'm confident of fighting against a Void God Emperor. Sky Formation calculated by the side, his eyes shining brightly. A few days ago, Wang Xian had asked Sky Formation to fight against Void God Emperor. He and the 10 Pinnacle Undying God Kings of Dragon Palace were sufficient. Currently, the resources of Dragon Palace were sufficient to produce 7 Pinnacle Undying God Kings. With their strength, they could fight against a God Emperor. Hearing his words, Wang Xian's eyes shone brightly, and his lips curled. Currently, other than Sky Formation, Dragon Palace had 4 Pinnacle Undying God Kings. With the addition of 7, they would have a total of 11. What about a newly advanced God Emperor? Wang Xian asked Sky Formation. Dragon King, that God Emperor of Night Clan relied on his ancestors' inheritance to break through. He's the weakest among the newly advanced God Emperors. But with the ancestors' treasure, he's roughly the same as an ordinary God Emperor. If he just broke through, without a few 100,000 to a few million years of accumulation, give me 8 to 9 Pinnacle God Kings, and I'll be able to restrain him. After all, Dragon Machinery is very strong. Sky Formation said confidently. He was once a God Emperor, and an elite amongst the God Emperors in this resplendent starry sky. If he said he could restrain him, he would definitely be able to do it. This was the confidence of the strongest expert in this void. Do you know how many God Emperors there are in the Imperial Court? Wang Xian's eyes shone brightly as he asked. According to what I know before I fell, there should be 3, and one of them might have reached second order Void God Emperor. Among the 7 great domains, the Imperial Star Domain is at most ranked 5th or 6th, Sky Formation said. And I wonder when the Dragon Palace will have a Void God Emperor. Kiki, let's go. Let's exchange for treasures and raise our strength. Wang Xian chuckled. Chapter 2750. Wang. Dragon Peak flew rapidly towards the frontline planet of the Imperial Court. When Dragon Peak arrived at the front of the planet, he saw many other forces coming out from the abyss. The most eye-catching was the Imperial Court. Tens of millions of people from the Imperial Court flew out from the abyss. The experts and disciples of the Imperial Court were all smiles. Clearly, they had gained a lot this time. Eh, that's Dragon Peak. I heard that the Dragon Palace went against a large abyss race. I wonder if they succeeded. Given the strength of the Dragon Palace, they could easily wipe out the entire abyss race. I heard that the Night Clan and Sky Edge sect escaped to the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace killed another peak immortal god king abyss race. The strength of the Dragon Palace is much more terrifying than expected. SSS, is that true? We didn't even kill a peak immortal god king abyss race this time, but the Dragon Palace killed two. How can the news from the Night Clan be false? I heard that the Dragon Palace purposely stopped the Night Clan from escaping. The Night Clan was the unluckiest this time. They were attacked by 3 large abyss race and 5 peak immortal god king abyss race. I heard that the powerful abyss race have evolved their intelligence. The Night Clan was really unlucky this time. But if our protector didn't go to Pingy Island, we could have killed 1 or 2 peak immortal god king abyss race. Now someone is saying that the Dragon Palace is stronger than the Night Clan. I wonder if it's true. When Dragon Peak flew over, the experts and disciples of the Imperial Court, 9 firmaments, and other forces also noticed it. As for the battle that happened not long ago, they were well informed and knew a lot of things. Everyone heard the Night Clan's call for help, but many people just found out about the strength of the Dragon Palace. Gazing at the towering Dragon Peak, everyone had a look of awe on their faces. Even some elders and deacons of the Imperial Court were in awe of the Dragon Palace. Killing 2 peak immortal god king abyss race wasn't something an ordinary force could do. Since the start of the Abyss War, the Imperial Court had only killed 1 peak immortal god king abyss race. Let's go to the Merit Points Exchange Office, Wang Xian said to Tian Jun and the rest. The group flew straight to the eye-catching main hall on a planet. Dragon King. Seeing the arrival of Wang Xian and the rest, some of the staff in front of the main hall greeted them respectfully. The current Dragon Palace was a famous existence in the entire Imperial Star region. On the hero ranking list, experts from the Dragon Palace occupied the majority, which represented their strength. The Dragon Palace was also ranked first in the ranking of all the forces. Call the manager of your merit hall over. Wang Xian instructed one of the staff immediately. It's Dragon King. The staff did not dare to delay and immediately entered. I heard that the Dragon Palace has just killed a large abyssal race in the abyssal race. Is the Dragon Palace here to exchange for merit treasures? Very soon, an old man walked over respectfully and asked with a smile, Yes, please prepare a large number of elixirs. Our Dragon Palace is prepared to use all our merit points to exchange for elixirs. Spiritual grass and divine fruits are fine too. There's no limit to their effects. Wang Xian looked at the old man and said, The old man was stunned. He asked, Dragon King, you have 2 undying God King Peak Abyss-type corpses? Yes, 2 Peak Abyss-type corpses, 13 rank 9s, and over 40 rank 9s. Does the Imperial Court have so many pills, spirit herbs, and divine fruits to exchange? Wang Xian nodded his head. Yes, the Imperial Court naturally has so many treasures. Please wait for a moment, Dragon King. We'll go and prepare now. The old man in charge said immediately. Wang Xian nodded his head too. The Imperial Court could absorb more resources from the Abyss-type corpses compared to the Dragon Transformation Pool. However, Wang Xian could not possibly take out all the Abyss-type corpses or the corpses of the Imperial Court experts. There was another reason why he was here to exchange for elixirs. Wang Xian was going to upgrade himself this time. After the upgrade, he would possess the combat strength of a pinnacle undying God King. Congratulations to the Dragon Palace. Congratulations to the Dragon King. You've gained a lot this time. In less than 5 minutes, an old man walked in and congratulated Wang Xian with a beaming face. Hee, without the Imperial Court Celestial Emperor around, we wouldn't have the chance to hunt these abyss types. Wang Xian looked at the guardian of the Imperial Court and replied politely, That's because the Dragon Palace has the strength to do so. After this, the Dragon Palace's merit points will be unsurpassed. Thank you for your contribution to the humans of the Imperial Star Domain. If the Dragon King wants to exchange for elixirs, divine herbs, and divine fruits, we can satisfy you. The old man said with a smile. All right, These are the abyss-type corpses that we need to exchange for, Wang Xian said as he handed over a few space rings. The old man took a look and nodded his head. He then took out a few space rings and did some conversion. Dragon King, please check them, the old man said as he handed over the space rings. Thank you. Wang Xian took a glance and replied with a smile. Hee, you're welcome. The old man chuckled. Wang Xian cupped his fist and left. The strength of the Dragon Palace is indeed impressive. They should have 5 to 6 pinnacle Undying God King experts. Looking at Wang Xian and the rest, the old man made a move and disappeared immediately. What's the matter that requires you to make a trip? Soon, the old man appeared in a hall. One of the 4 old men looked over and asked. The Dragon Palace exchanged for treasures. They killed 2 pinnacle Undying God King Abyss types, a dozen rank 9 ones, and more. The old man said plainly. I heard that the Dragon Palace took about a minute to kill a pinnacle Undying God King Abyss type. One of the protectors raised his eyebrows and said with flickering eyes. It's confirmed. The Yi clan also said that they killed a pinnacle Undying God King Abyss type in a minute. Another protector next to him said, to kill a pinnacle Undying God King Abyss type in a minute. I guess 10 of us protectors would be able to do it. The strength of the Dragon Palace is really impressive. In the center, an old man's eyes flickered as he spoke. Wang. At this moment, a figure shrouded in light appeared in front of the hall. Seeing this figure, everyone immediately calmed themselves down and showed a respectful expression. Greetings, great ancestor. The 5 of them bowed and greeted. We can confirm that there's only one Dark Law God Emperor Abyss type. After Yi Yuan from the Yi clan improves, the Yi clan, you and the other forces of the Imperial Star Domain will guard this place. I will rush to Pingyi. The figure shrouded in light appeared and said, Great ancestor. Is Pingyi going to erupt? The group of old men was slightly shocked and asked. Soon, the figure shrouded in light nodded. Chapter 2751. Given the current situation in the Abyss, our forces are more than enough to deal with them. The Abyss species might have evolved. Lead the disciples and be careful. Don't hunt them. Just guard this place. The figure shrouded in light continued to speak. After Yi Yuan from the Night Clan became an emperor, the Night Clan and Sky Edge sect will probably annihilate the Dragon Palace. This will affect our strength. The Dragon Palace could annihilate a pinnacle immortal god king Abyss species within a minute. They should be stronger than the Night Clan. One of the guardians said with a frown. The Dragon Peak of the Dragon Palace is indeed extraordinary. However, the Night Clan has a Void God Emperor and still needs them to guard this place. We, the Imperial Court, have to show them some respect. You can look for the people from Sky Edge sect and ask if they can annihilate them later. After all, the Dragon Palace can share some of the pressure. If the Night Clan and Sky Edge sect don't agree, then let them be, said the figure shrouded in light. Yes, great ancestor. The 5 Imperial Dynasty protectors nodded. They understood this very well. The Night Clan had a Void God Emperor. Although their status was still lower than the Imperial Court, they could already speak to the Imperial Court. Especially during this period, if the Night Clan wanted to annihilate the Dragon Palace, the Imperial Court would not interfere. In fact, they would even help. After all, a God Emperor was not something a large sect could compare to. A large sect could be annihilated easily, but a God Emperor could transcend everything. Wang, the figure shrouded in light, gradually disappeared. Old One, you are familiar with the Sky Edge sect. Their feud also started with the Sky Edge sect. Go and ask Feng Yazi and the rest of the Sky Edge sect if they are willing to wait for the war to stabilize before destroying the Dragon Palace. After the situation stabilizes, tell them that the Imperial Court is also willing to help them take revenge. After all, the Sky Edge sect has done many things for the Imperial Court. Seeing that the great ancestor had ended, a guardian said to an old man beside him, All right, I'll go and ask. The old man nodded. Dragon King, are we returning to the Dragon Palace now? At this moment, Imo Sha asked Wang Xian in the Dragon Peak. When we return, I need to improve myself. The Dragon Palace also needs a huge upgrade. Since we have obtained so many merits, we don't have to do anything for now. Wang Xian nodded his head. Dragon King, I'll go find Orochi. Now, I'll parasitize the 2 patriarchs of the Sky Edge sect. As long as I parasitize them, there won't be much of a problem, Emosha said. And Wang Xian nodded and reminded, be careful and don't let anything go wrong. Don't worry, Dragon King. Nothing will go wrong. Demon Fiend nodded confidently. All right, Sky Formation, you stay here and keep in touch with the Demon Fiend Orochi and some of the venomous horn dragons. We might not be a match for the Imperial Court in half a month, but we don't have to fear the Night Clan. Wang Xian smiled and ordered the Sky Array. Yes, Dragon King. Don't worry with us around. Tianjin smiled and nodded. Dujio, Ao Xingmu, Ao Yao, Mao Zixin, lead all the disciples back to the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian bellowed as his figure gradually disappeared. The next moment, he appeared in the main Dragon Palace. He looked at the resources in the interspatial ring and smiled. These pills were enough for him to raise his strength by 1 level, and it could also increase the number of Undying God King Peak members, as well as a large number of members of other levels. Roar. He let out a deep roar and transformed into his divine dragon form. His huge dragon body emitted a faint aura. Within the interspatial ring, the elixir pills, divine grass, and divine fruits entered his stomach and were quickly converted into dragon energy. Ding! Congratulations to host for leveling up to level 4 Undying God King. Name: Wang Xian Race. Yin Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon. Human Dragon Unification. Level 4 Undying God King. 7th Transformation of Divine Dragon Transformation. Source: 1214434/100000000 Superpower: dominate the marine animals, rule all marine animals lower than your own level, devour living things. Devour living things to extract source. 5 elements control art of cultivation. Divine Dragon Transformation Superpowers: soul assimilation, spiritual attachment, Yin Yang 5 elements. Dragon Eyes Dharma Form: 5 elements grindstone, Dragon Country in the palm, Dragon Head descending, 10,000 miles Dragon Body, Yin Yang 2 poles, Yin Yang 5 elements bowl, Divine Dragon Tail Whip. Law of Substance: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness. Level 4, God Kingdom, Dragon Palace. Own Dragon Palace. Level 7 Dragon Palace members. 411842 Boom. A powerful aura surged towards the surroundings as Wang Xian's body grew to 20,000 meters. Every dragon scale was glowing like a diamond under the sun. Sacred, majestic, and inviolable. Finally, I've reached the pinnacle of Undying God King. Wang Xian opened his dragon eyes. His pupils were flickering with 7-colored radiance as he revealed a faint smile. Roar, roar. He let out a low roar and continued to devour elixir pills. Soon, his body accumulated a huge amount of origin source dragon energy. Ao Yao, Ao Xingmu, Mao Zixin, come over here. With a thought, Wang Xian's voice was transmitted directly into their minds. Dragon King. Soon, the 3 of them arrived at the Dragon King Hall and greeted respectfully. Prepare to level up, Wang Xian said. At the same time, waves of majestic dragon energy were transmitted into their celestial region. The 3 of them were overjoyed and quickly absorbed the origin source dragon energy. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Soon, a majestic aura erupted from the 3 of them. Another 3 pinnacle Undying God King experts were born in the Dragon Palace. Gather all members of the Dragon Palace and enter the Dragon Transformation Pool to level up. Wang Xian looked at the 2 of them and ordered Prime Minister Turtle, who was not far away. It's Dragon King. Not all of the Abyss species were used to exchange for pills. The Dragon Palace only exposed 2 Undying God King Peak Abyss species corpses. In his hands, he still had 1, as well as a large number of Undying God King Abyss race corpses. This wave, the Dragon Palace could give birth to 7 Undying God King Peak Abyss type. 20 to 30 rank 9 abyssal species could be born. Soon, all the members of the Dragon Palace arrived in front of the Dragon Transformation Pool. At the side, Roving Heavens took out a large number of corpses and placed them aside for the dragon transformation pool to absorb and turn into dragon blood. Du Jiu, Ao Fenghuang, Ao Qi, Ao Tu. The four of you enter the dragon transformation pool and raise your strength to the peak of the Undying God King realm. As for the other Type 9 members, focus on the spike dragons. Wang Xian stood at the front and immediately issued orders to make arrangements for the promotion of each level. It's Dragon King. The crowd of Dragon Palace members immediately responded. They stared at the dragon transformation pool with fiery eyes and entered it one by one. In half a month, the strength of the Dragon Palace will rise to another level. Wang Xian stood in front with a smile. At this moment, on a planet at the front line of the Imperial Court battlefield, two old men from Sky Edge sect came to a huge hall. In front of them, Sky Edge sect leader and three elders were welcoming them respectfully. However, in their eyes, one could see a hint of cunning, the last step to control Sky Edge. Chapter 2752. Little Soul, what do you want to discuss with us? In a large hall on the planet where the Sky Horizon sect was located, two patriarchs entered and spoke to the Sky Horizon sect master. Patriarchs, please sit down. I called the two of you here because it's about the experts and disciples of the World Edge sect. The sect master and the three elders respectfully said to the two patriarchs of the Sky Edge sect. Did something happen to me? Old Ancestor Sky's Edge frowned and asked. Old Ancestor, ever since the battle with the Dragon Palace, our Sky Edge sect's disciples have started to suffer heavy losses. The last time we joined forces with the Night Clan to enter the Abyss, we also suffered heavy losses. Right now, we only have about 8,000 Divine King-level disciples. Just now, we received news that a God King's disciple has escaped. Sigh. As the World's Edge sect master spoke, he sighed. His expression was extremely ugly. An elder walked up to the two old ancestors and poured them a cup of tea. A disciple escaped? When the two patriarchs heard the World Edge sect master's words, their faces sank, and they looked extremely embarrassed. Patriarch, right now, the hearts of the disciples of the World Edge sect are scattered. Even those loyal disciples have their confidence shaken. Old Ancestor, when will Old Ancestor Yi Yuan of the Night Clan become an emperor? I'm afraid that the disciples of the Sky Edge sect will. An elder at the side also opened his mouth and said sorrowfully. Forefather Night Abyss's advancement will happen in the next 2 to 3 months. And it might be even sooner. Old Ancestor Sky Edge Wu Lin leaned back on his chair and drank a cup of tea. As long as Old Ancestor Yi Yuan becomes a martial emperor, it will be the time for our World Edge sect to rise. At that time, the first thing we'll do is to destroy the Dragon Palace. He couldn't help but roar in a low voice. Let's appease the disciples for now. We won't enter the Abyss for the next few days, and we'll wait for Patriarch Night Abyss to reach the Arch Realm. Old Ancestor Sky Edge said as he drank a mouthful of water. Hee. Seeing that the two patriarchs had drunk the tea, the World's Edge sect master and the others revealed smiles on their faces. The two Sky Horizon Old Ancestors were slightly stunned when they heard the laughter. However, at that moment, a black monster-like object suddenly darted out of World Edge's sect master's mouth. The monster directly drilled into Wu Lin Sheng's body. What? When Masako and Wu Lin Jin saw the sudden change in the World Edge sect master, they were slightly shocked. Their eyes widened in shock. They immediately stood up, and their auras surged. However, in the next moment, their expressions changed drastically as they felt a wave of chaotic energy in their bodies. Crash. At this moment, a puddle of black liquid flowed towards Masako from behind. What is this? The eyes of Masako and Wu Lin Quan were filled with fear and shock as they exclaimed, "This is your grandfather from the Dragon Palace." Disdainful and provocative voices rang out as Orochi and Masha burrowed into the bodies of the two. Masako and Wu Linjin didn't expect this at all. Now, the person closest to the Sky Edge sect, the sect master of the Sky Edge sect, had actually plotted against them. Their eyes widened, and when they saw the three elders standing there with smiles on their faces, they felt a chill in their hearts. What was going on? What had the Dragon Palace done? But soon, their thoughts were gradually overtaken. Bam! The corpse of the World's Edge sect master was lying on the side. Kakik. Masha and Orochi looked at each other and revealed a sinister smile. Congratulations to the two of you for successfully parasitizing. The three Sky Edge sect masters immediately congratulated them respectfully. Okay. Orochi and Masha smiled. Brother Masako, Brother Wu Linjin. At this moment, a voice suddenly came into the hall. Huh. Masha and Orochi waved their arms and kept the corpse at the side. Guardian D, please come in. The two of them looked at each other and said, Buzz. At the next moment, an old man flew into the hall. Guardian D, please take a seat. Masha and Yamada no Orochi immediately responded. Hee, you don't have to be so polite. I'm here today to discuss something with the two of you. The old man smiled faintly and sat at the side. Oh? Please speak, Guardian D. Masha and Orochi raised their eyebrows and asked doubtfully, I'm sorry for the inconvenience of the Sky Edge sect. Of course, the two of you don't have to agree. I'm just here to discuss. Now that the situation in Pingy is critical, our great ancestor will be heading there in a few days. Only the few of us will be left on the battlefield here. At that time, the battlefield here will be guarded by Patriarch Yuan of the Night Clan. The Night Clan will be responsible for this place. Other than the Night Clan, the rest will be the major forces of the Imperial Star region. I'm here to discuss the Dragon Palace. We know that you guys have a blood feud with the Dragon Palace. However, the Dragon Palace isn't weak now and can play a significant role in guarding this place. Do you think it's possible for you guys to destroy the Dragon Palace after the situation here is completely stabilized? At that time, if the Sky Edge sect needs help, the Imperial Court can also lend a hand. The old man said to them slowly. Huh. Orochi and Masha's faces darkened, and they frowned slightly when they heard him. Of course, I'm here to mention that we won't have any objections if Patriarch Yuan destroys the Dragon Palace after his advancement. I can understand too. I'm just mentioning it. The decision is up to the two of you. You can consider it for a while. I won't disturb you anymore. The old man said as he cupped his fists to them. With a move of his body, he flew towards the outside. His attitude was one of discussion. After all, the Sky Edge sect was indebted to the Night Clan. After Yi Yuan became an emperor, the Imperial Court wouldn't have any objections if he wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace. This matter wouldn't affect their attitude towards the Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect either. You want the Dragon Palace to help deal with the Abyss demons on this battlefield before destroying them? Orochi revealed a sinister smile when he saw the guardians of the Imperial Court leaving. Let's report this to the Dragon King first. We'll discuss this matter at length. Masha pondered for a while and said, All right. Orochi nodded and took out the communication stone plate to pass the message over. At the same time, Wang Xian, who was in front of the dragon transformation pool, received the message sent by Orochi. There was good news. Orochi and Masha had succeeded. After their success, they immediately received an important piece of news. Killing the goose that lays the golden eggs? Although it will give the Dragon Palace more time to improve their strength. His eyes flickered when he read the news. The founding ancestor of the Imperial Court has left. Only the Night Clan is guarding this place. Chapter 2753. 1 second to remember wonderful pop-up window free reading. Most of the Imperial Dynasty experts left, and even the Imperial Dynasty God Emperors headed to Pingy Island. Only a few Imperial Dynasty protectors were left here. If the Night Clan was the only one guarding this place, Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. The Night Clan has 5 Undying God King Peak experts. After one became a God Emperor, there are 4 more. Dragon Palace has a total of 11. Including the Dragon Weapon Horizon Ruler, there are 13. If the Dragon Palace wants to fight against the Night Clan, Tianjin would need at least 9 people to fight against the Night Clan. The Dragon Palace also has 3 Peak God Kings, 1 less than the Night Clan. But if the Dragon Palace launches a sneak attack, he muttered to himself as he calculated. Other than Peak God King Realm experts, there were also 9th Order God King Realm experts. In terms of 9th Order God King Realm experts, the Dragon Palace had more of them. There were about 39th Order Immortal God King realm experts. Not long ago, a few of them had died, leaving less than 30. On the Dragon Palace's side, the number of Ninth Order Immortal God King realm experts could reach 64. Their numbers were more than twice that of the Night Clan. But we have to consider the Imperial Court's forces. The Dragon Palace is still weaker. Wang Xian muttered. Unless the Dragon Palace was given more time to increase the number of Undying God King peak stage experts. Hee. Looking at the dragon transformation pool before him, Wang Xian smiled faintly. Now that the safety of the Dragon Palace had been greatly guaranteed, the next step was to counterattack. That sense of crisis was about to disappear. Let's go find out some news from the Night Clan. Let's see if we can find out when the Night Clan forefather broke through to the Void God Emperor realm. Also, agree to the Imperial Court's arrangement and tell the Night Clan about this as well to buy us some time. Wang Xian immediately ordered the Yamata no Naga. At the same time, the Yamata no Demon Fiend on a planet at the front line of the Imperial Court received the news and nodded slightly. Let's go and pay a visit to the leader of the Night Clan. Without hesitation, the two of them signaled to their three subordinates. As for the disappearance of the World Edge Sect Master, the two of them could overlook such a small matter. The two of them moved and quickly flew toward the planet where the Night Clan was located. Clan leader Yi, we've come to disturb you. Soon, the two of them came to a study room and spoke to the leader of the Yi clan. Hee brothers, what can I do for you? Clan leader Yi smiled and asked. Clan leader Yi, there are some things about Dragon Palace. Orochi said with a smile. Dragon Palace? The clan leader of the Night Clan had a murderous look in his eyes when he heard their words. He growled in a low voice, once our patriarch is promoted, we will destroy the Dragon Palace immediately. Don't worry, leader of the Night Clan. Just now, Guardian D of the Imperial Court came to discuss with us about the Dragon Palace. Emo Shah said with a smile. Oh, Imperial Court Protector? The leader of the Night Clan was slightly surprised and looked at them. What the Imperial Court means is that the Dragon Palace is very strong, and there is no need to destroy it now. They can wait until the situation here is completely stabilized before destroying the Dragon Palace. At that time, the Imperial Court will say that they can help. Orochi said, I heard that Pingy Island is in a critical situation. Our Yi clan will be in charge of this place from now on. The old ancestor will be in charge of this place. The Dragon Palace is indeed very strong. The leader of the Night Clan frowned slightly as he fell into deep thought. A large number of our disciples and experts have died because of the Dragon Palace. I don't want them to continue being arrogant. At this moment, a voice came from outside the door. An old man walked in with a dignified face. Father. The clan leader of the Night Clan immediately stood up and greeted him respectfully. After the patriarch is promoted, we can destroy the Dragon Palace at any time. Looking at the overall situation, it is indeed beneficial for us to leave the Dragon Palace here temporarily. The clan leader of the Night Clan continued. What do the two of you from the Sky Edge sect think? The clan leader of the Night Clan's father did not answer and looked at the two patriarchs from the Sky Edge sect. We naturally hope to destroy the Dragon Palace immediately. Orochi and Emo Shah looked at each other and said with murderous intent. Such words were completely based on the thoughts of Masako and Wu Linjin. The Dragon Palace must be destroyed and we can't let it stay for long. However, we can let the Dragon Palace die in the abyss. After the Patriarch becomes an Emperor God, the Night Clan will immediately organize a war and order the Dragon Palace to lead all the disciples to rush to the front and let them fight with the Abyss demons. This method can not only let the Dragon Palace help us solve some difficulties, but also completely destroy the Dragon Palace. The clan leader of the Night Clan's father said with flickering eyes. Father, this is a good idea. We can destroy the Dragon Palace and make the Abyss demons suffer heavy losses. The clan leader of the Night Clan's eyes lit up and said, This is a good idea. On the side, Devil Fiend Orochi frowned slightly and nodded in response. Then it's decided. After our Patriarch becomes an Emperor God, we won't destroy the Dragon Palace directly. Let them fight with the Abyss demons to death. The clan leader of the Night Clan said with a smile. Great. Orochi and Devil Fiend nodded excitedly. After talking with the clan leader of the Night Clan for a while, the two of them moved and went back immediately. Soon, Wang Xian was informed of the situation here. Let the Dragon Palace fight with the Abyss Demons of the Imperial Court to death? Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he saw this message. He kept calculating in his mind. In that case, let's have a showdown on that day. After a long time, Wang Xian squinted his eyes and murmured. Once they fell out with the Night Clan, it would be equivalent to becoming enemies with the entire Imperial Court. Before that, he had to make all the necessary preparations. To be enemies with the Imperial Court and the God Emperor, he had to at least prepare a place of escape. He had to prepare all the escape routes. Moreover, since he was enemies, he had to maximize the benefits. He had to kill the experts from the Night Clan and the Imperial Court and obtain a large number of treasures. Should I find out about the treasure vault of the Imperial Court at the front line? Wang Xian squinted his eyes, and they shone brightly. With the Venom Horn Dragon and the Spike Dragon, Wang Xian felt that he could set another trap now. When the God Emperor of the Night Clan ordered the Dragon Palace to enter the Abyss to fight with the Abyss Demons, it would be the start of the Dragon Palace. Sky Formation, Prime Minister Turtle, Roving Demon, Roving Heavens, Roving Xingmu, Mao Zedong, Roving 2, come over first to discuss important matters. Wang Xian immediately ordered Prime Minister Turtle and the few leaders who had raised their fighting strength to the peak Divine King realm. There would be a huge battle next, and the Dragon Palace had to be well prepared. Yes. Soon, the group of leaders gathered in front of the Dragon King Hall. Chapter 2754. Wonderful Pop-Up Window Free Reading. Time passed day by day. Within the Dragon Palace, the members were increasing their strength rapidly. Over at the Imperial Court battlefield, after the previous war, things had gradually calmed down. Even the abyssal species within the abyss had calmed down. Half a month passed quickly, and all members of the Dragon Palace had improved. Currently, the entire Dragon Palace had about 400,000 members, and the number of Undying God Kings had reached 250,000. The rest of the members were all Eternal God Lord level 8 and above. Dragon King, shall we head over? After summoning the leaders of the Dragon Palace, Roving Demon, Roving Sword, and the rest came over and asked with a smile. The group of leaders, including Du Jiu, had all reached the peak of the Undying God King realm. Get ready. Wang Xian nodded at them. Let's go. Without hesitation, they flew out and arrived at the Dragon Peak through the teleportation formation. Dragon King, is there any news from Baki Demon Sha? Tianjin asked as they arrived at the command platform. No news. Even the Night Clan doesn't know when their old ancestor Yi Yuan will be able to break through. Wang Xian shook his head. Du Jiu, contact the members in the Imperial Court. We'll infiltrate the treasury. He squinted his eyes and continued. Yes, Dragon King. Du Jiu nodded. Think of a way. See if we can hunt down a few Undying God Kings in the next few days. Wang Xian said. The protectors of the Imperial Court. Should we let Baki Demon Sha and the rest try? Prime Minister Turtle said from the side. We shouldn't take the risk over at the Imperial Court. It'll be bad if the God Emperor finds out. Let Baki Demon Sha think of a way. Send 1,000 Venom Horn Dragons into the Night Clan. It's best if they can parasitize some elders and deacons. Wang Xian said. Yes. Du Jiu nodded at the side. In the next few days, Venom, Baki, and Demon Sha commanded their subordinates to start parasitizing the Night Clan experts. Among all the departments in the Dragon Palace, the Poison Department was the strongest. Du Jiu and Baki Demon Sha were peak God Kings. There were also 15 Ninth Order Undying God King realm experts. It was easy for a level 9 Undying God King to infect a level 8 Undying God King. Parasitizing the friends and family of this expert allowed him to develop rapidly. In less than 4 days, 1,000 Venom Horn Dragons had infiltrated the Night Clan. Walala. On the 5th day, it suddenly rained heavily. The sudden heavy rain surprised everyone. According to the weather here, with experts moving about freely and all kinds of energy clashing, it was impossible for the sky to rain. However, it wasn't just raining today. The rain was getting heavier and heavier, covering a very wide area. On the command platform of Dragon Peak, Tianjin frowned slightly when he saw the sudden downpour. He had a surprised look on his face. Buzz. Suddenly, on a planet in one of the imperial courts, a beam of white light shot into the void. The incomparably powerful white light slowly condensed into a human figure in the void. The figure was illusory, towering in the void, tens of thousands of zhang tall, directly entering the heavens. Welcome the new God Emperor of the human race. Congratulations to Yi Yuan for becoming the Arch. Congratulations on the arrival of the Night Clan's new emperor. All living beings, come forth and worship. The sudden appearance of the white figure attracted everyone's attention. Just at this moment, the white figure said in a vast voice. The 3 words of congratulations spread to the ears of everyone on the battlefield. Even the people in seclusion in their rooms, the people at the edge of the abyss, or other places could hear it clearly. When everyone heard the 4 sentences, their expressions changed drastically. At this moment, everyone rushed out and looked at the void in shock. They looked at the surrounding rain and the figure formed by the white light. Their eyes widened and their bodies trembled. Our old ancestor has become a void God Emperor? A God Emperor has been born? A new God Emperor? God Emperor of the Night Clan. Oh my God. Our Imperial Star region hasn't had a God Emperor for millions of years. Now, the Night Clan has one. Shocked and incredulous voices came from all around. On the hundreds of planets around, billions of people looked up, their faces filled with shock. A void God Emperor. A void God Emperor had been born. Even the God Emperor of the Imperial Court had congratulated him. This swoosh. At this moment, everyone sensed that the rain had stopped. One by one, the raindrops flew up into the sky. The raindrops quickly gathered and slowly formed a huge rain man in the void. The Rain Man was extremely vast and filled with a powerful aura. Everyone looked over and were filled with shock. I am Yi Yuan of the Night Clan. Today, I have become an emperor and aim for the Void God Emperor realm. I am a God Emperor and all living beings submit to me. The towering Rain Man was filled with waves of vast energy. He looked around and said in a deep voice, "Gulp." Everyone couldn't help but gulp when they saw this. Disciples of the Imperial Court greet Night God Emperor. The 5 protectors of the Imperial Court shouted in the sky above a planet. Disciples of the Imperial Court greet Night God Emperor. Disciples of the Imperial Court greet Night God Emperor. The next moment, all the disciples and experts of the Imperial Court shouted in unison. Their voices were filled with respect. A God Emperor, a high and mighty God Emperor. How many God Emperors were there in the entire Imperial Star region? Every God Emperor had the power to destroy the world. If a God Emperor wanted someone dead, that person would die. Greetings, God Emperor. The next moment, all the forces, experts, and even the ancestral patriarchs, sect masters, and elders reacted and cupped their hands. Greetings, God Emperor. At once, these 4 words echoed throughout the entire space. From today onwards, Night God Emperor will replace the Imperial Court to suppress this battlefield. All disciples of the Imperial Court, listen to Night God Emperor. At this moment, the phantom formed by the white light continued to speak. Yes, Grand Ancestor. Everyone in the Imperial Court shouted, Senior Emperor, I will suppress this place. There won't be any problems. The towering Rain Man looked at the white light figure and said with a smile, Haha, no need to be so polite. With Night God Emperor here, the Imperial Court can rest assured. Once the Imperial Court quells the Pingy Island battlefield, we will celebrate the birth of Night God Emperor. The white light figure said with a smile. The towering Rain Man cupped his hands. The white light figure also cupped his hands and disappeared. After the white light figure left, the Rain Man slowly shrank into a point in the void. A figure emitting a blue light quietly stood there. He seemed to be the ruler of this space. All forces, come here immediately. The order spread across the void. Chapter 2755. Huh? Night God Emperor wants to summon all the forces. Let's go. When everyone heard the voice of the Night God Emperor, their eyes turned cold and they immediately flew forward. Let's go. The old ancestor and sect leader of the Nine Clouds' great sect exchanged glances and flew forward in awe. A faction with a celestial arch overseeing, it couldn't be compared to a faction without one. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the Night Clan could easily destroy the Nine Clouds' great sect. A god emperor was like a towering mountain. If you touched it, you would be crushed instantly. The Nine Clouds' great sect and the others had to be respectful to the Night Clan. They weren't on the same level as the Night Clan anymore. Seems like Yi Yuan of the Night Clan has obtained their ancestors' inheritance. Let's go. From now on, we will respect the Night Clan on Cold Night Island. Not far away, an ancestor from a great power looked over and powerlessly said. They were also a great sect on Cold Night Island and had an immortal king. Even though they weren't as strong as the Night Clan would still give them face. But now, everything had changed. If they didn't submit, the Night Clan could destroy them with one word. Now they had to submit and show their loyalty. He came so suddenly. Even the demon fiend Orochi and the others didn't get the news. Seems like he just broke through and flew over. On the Dragon Peak, Wang Xian spoke in a deep voice as he looked at the body that was emitting a powerful aura. Let's go. As he spoke, he flew straight in that direction. Let's go. Tianjin and the others followed immediately. They were all wearing formation jade cards to hide their strength. The Void God Emperor couldn't sense their specific strength without touching them. While Wang Xian and the others were flying over, at least 100 million people were also flying over. All the experts and core disciples of the Imperial Star region were going over. Next, Night God Emperor of the Night Clan was in charge of the battlefield. They all had to listen to his orders. Even the Imperial Dynasty's protectors listened to Night God Emperor's orders. This was the authority of a God Emperor. Wang Xian and the others flew over and stood at the edge. Congratulations, Night God Emperor. In the future, our heavenly demon cult will respect the Night Clan on Cold Night Island. As soon as Wang Xian and the rest arrived, they saw the Lao Zu of the Sky Demon cult leading a group of disciples to the figure that was emitting blue radiance. Hee, very good. The sky blue figure standing in the air looked at them and nodded his head indifferently, filled with a sense of superiority. The people from the Sky Demon cult did not feel indignant at all and stood respectfully at the side. Congratulations, Night God Emperor. Congratulations, Night Clan. We, the continent of the Nine Clouds, will listen to Night God Emperor's orders. Congratulations, Night God Emperor. From now on, the Imperial Star Domain will have another Void God Emperor to oversee the Void. Nine Heaven's great sects Duan Tian and the others flew over and bowed respectfully. As for some of the smaller forces, they wished that they could kneel down and congratulate him. Patriarch. Patriarch. At this time, a group of experts from the Night Clan flew over. The few people in the lead flew to the Night God Emperor's side with excitement. Hee. The Night God Emperor looked at his outstanding descendants and smiled. Patriarch, I didn't expect you to break through so quickly. The leader of the Night Clan roared excitedly. Haha, faster than expected. The Night God Emperor laughed. He had a good attitude towards his direct descendants. After all, they were at the same level not long ago. Patriarch, I heard that after reaching the God Emperor level, you can help others improve their strength. Is that true? The leader of the Night Clan said with a smile. Hee, you want me to improve the strength of the young Emperor, right? Young Emperor, come here. The Night God Emperor said with a smile as he looked at young Emperor Yi. Patriarch. Hearing the Patriarch calling him, young Emperor Yi flushed with excitement and walked over immediately. Your father is a peak God King, and so is your grandfather. You can't be weaker than them in the future. Do you understand? The Night God Emperor looked at his descendant and said in a good mood, Yes, Patriarch. I will work hard to surpass my father and grandfather and reach the level of the Patriarch. Young Emperor Yi immediately cupped his hands and said respectfully, Ha ha ha, good. The Night God Emperor laughed and waved his arm. Hong. The next moment, a majestic energy entered his body. Young Emperor Ye's body shook and his aura rose. A sky blue hand appeared in front of young Emperor Yi and adjusted the energy in his body. Hong. Not long after, his body trembled, and an aura that belonged to a god king came over. The night god emperor waved his arm and metal materials appeared in front of him. They quickly formed palaces in his mind. Around the palaces, there was a river. The entire palace was a few hundred kilometers wide. He waved his arm, and a connection was formed between the palaces and young Emperor Yi. Everyone who witnessed this scene widened their eyes in shock. They looked on in shock and didn't dare to speak. The 100 million people around were silent. "Thank you, Patriarch." A few minutes later, young Emperor Yi seemed to have been reborn as he shouted excitedly, "SSS!" In just a few minutes, he raised an eternal godlord from rank 8 to the immortal god king realm. Is this the Void God Emperor? How terrifying! He raised an eternal godlord to the immortal god king realm. The surrounding people couldn't help but exclaim when they saw this. The Void God Emperor can raise one's strength directly, but there are many restrictions. It's not as easy as it looks and the consumption is huge. Tianjin looked ahead and sent a message to Wang Xian with slight disdain. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. Tianjin knew about it, but the other forces and experts didn't. The scene in front of them was indeed shocking. This was a powerful move that belonged to the Void God Emperor. Congratulations, Night God Emperor. At this moment, 2 patriarchs from Sky Edge arrived with a group of disciples. "The 2 of you are here. Come to my side." The Night God Emperor looked over and greeted them with a smile. He let the 2 of them come to his side to show all the forces present that the Sky Edge sect was under his protection. "It's Night God Emperor." The 2 patriarchs from Sky Edge sect came to Night God Emperor with excitement in their eyes. They glanced at Wang Xian in front of them with flickering eyes. Why is the Night God Emperor so polite to the 2 patriarchs from Sky Edge sect? And he even let them stand aside? Seeing this, all the forces were shocked. Chapter 2756. Wonderful Pop-Up Window Free Reading. Everyone knew that the Sky Edge sect was close to the Night Clan, but they didn't know that the 2 patriarchs of the Sky Edge sect had such a good relationship with the Night God Emperor. The attitude of the Night God Emperor surprised them. Now, the Sky Edge sect and the Dragon Palace were mortal enemies. Recently, some people said that the Dragon Palace had offended the Night Clan. But recently, the Dragon Palace had killed 2 peak immortal God King abyssal species and hunted a large abyss species. This made the Dragon Palace famous. Everyone in the Imperial Star region was talking about how the Dragon Palace might be as powerful as the Night Clan. Even if they had offended the Night Clan, they couldn't do anything about it. But now, with such a good relationship with the Sky Edge Night Clan, would the Night God Emperor make a move against the Dragon Palace? Everyone's eyes flickered, and they couldn't help but look at Wang Xian and the others. Although Wang Xian and the others were at the edge, with the current status and strength of the Dragon Palace, there weren't many forces that dared to get close. The nearby forces also stood more than 10 meters behind the Dragon Palace, showing their respect to the Dragon Palace. Therefore, Wang Xian and the others were still very eye-catching. At this time, the Night God Emperor also sensed the changes in the surroundings. He squinted his eyes and looked at Wang Xian and the others. A faint aura surged from his body. When this pressure rose, some of the experts from the surrounding forces sensed it. Everyone's expression changed. The Night God Emperor is going against the Dragon Palace. They were shocked and their eyes were fixed on the Dragon Palace. Zhao Tianyu and the other sects were also slightly shocked. Night God Emperor, we have already discussed with the Night Clan leader and the others. The 8 devil spirits, who were standing beside the Night God Emperor, felt the aura of the Night God Emperor and a murderous intent flashed in their hearts. They quickly transmitted a message to the Night God Emperor. Oh, the aura of the Night God Emperor disappeared. He looked to the side and a sealed space appeared with his mind. With his current status, there was no need to set up such a space. But some schemes still needed to be prepared. Great Ancestor, the Dragon Palace is not weak. It can even be said that they are very strong. However, they have offended our Night Clan and the Sky Edge sect. Naturally, we will not let them go. But we don't have to destroy it directly. From now on, our Night Clan will be in charge of this place and will be responsible for suppressing this abyss. We can order the Dragon Palace and the others to fight against the powerful abyss creatures. This way, we can destroy Dragon Palace and reduce the pressure on the abyss battlefield. With Dragon Palace's strength, it shouldn't be a problem to kill 2 to 3 Undying God King Peak Abyss species. The leader of the Night Clan said immediately, "That's possible? It's too easy to destroy them." Night God Emperor's eyes flickered as he nodded his head. He looked at the Yaki demon fiend beside him and said, "As long as the 2 brothers from Tianya have no objections." The hatred between the Night Clan and the Dragon Palace was not that great. Everything depended on the Sky Edge sect. Night God Emperor, let's act according to what we discussed with clan leader Yi and the others. Yamada no Orochi said respectfully. All right, then I'll let them go for now. The Night God Emperor nodded. Old ancestor, can young Emperor ask you for a favor? At this moment, young Emperor Yi, who was standing at the side, hesitated for a moment before asking Night God Emperor. Oh? The Night God Emperor raised his eyebrows and looked at his descendant. What do you want? Didn't old ancestor increase your strength just now? The leader of the Night Clan looked at his son and frowned as he shouted. It's nothing, young Emperor. Speak. The Night God Emperor waved his hand and said plainly, Old ancestor, I like the current disciple of the Imperial Court, Di Xingnu. Please help me. Huh? Young Emperor Yi said. Before he could finish his sentence, the Night God Emperor burst into laughter and interrupted him. Good. Young Emperor, you're much more promising than your father. In our generation, your grandfather and your father aren't promising at all. In your generation, it's not bad to have a few more descendants. Don't worry. I'll propose to the Imperial Court later, and they won't reject me. The Night God Emperor patted on young Emperor Ye's shoulder as he spoke. Thank you, old ancestor. Young Emperor Yi replied excitedly when he heard the old ancestor's words. Since the elder ancestor has agreed, then we might as well get you another wife. Doesn't the Dragon King have a disciple, the Frost Goddess? Didn't she mock you before? Why don't you let her be your concubine? At this moment, the leader of the Night Clan suddenly said, This father. That goddess of frost is so powerful and is even said to have the potential of a great emperor. It's all right. The Night Clan can suppress her. Young Emperor Yi was slightly stunned. He was interrupted by his father who patted his shoulder as well. At this moment, young Emperor Yi thought of the goddess of frost's face and his heart was burning. That was the famous goddess of frost. At the same time, he was filled with endless pride. With the love of his old ancestor and his father and grandfather, who would dare to offend him in the Imperial Star region in the future? Even the sect masters and old ancestors of the major sects would have to be polite to him in the future. Buzz. At this moment, the Night God Emperor broke through the soundproof barrier and scanned the surroundings. All the surrounding forces bowed slightly and waited for the Night God Emperor's orders. Some of them glanced in the direction of the Dragon Palace and wondered if the Dragon Palace would be punished by the Night God Emperor. From now on, the Chasm battlefield will be led by the Night Clan and the Guardians of the Imperial Court. All forces, please cooperate. The Night God Emperor said indifferently, Night God Emperor, the Chasm battlefield will be mainly under your control. The Imperial Court will only assist you. The Great Ancestor has instructed us to follow your orders. One of the Imperial Court's guardians said with a smile and scanned the surroundings. The Night God Emperor's orders are also the Imperial Court's orders. We will naturally follow the Night God Emperor's orders. All the experts saw this scene and said hurriedly. At this moment, with the Night God Emperor's strength, disobeying the orders was purely a challenge to the Night God Emperor's authority. The result was naturally death. Moreover, the Imperial Court was next to them. Who would dare to offend these two forces? Very good. Our next task is to suppress this abyss. In a few days, I will personally organize an attack. The Night God Emperor said. Yes, Night God Emperor. All the guardians of the Imperial Court replied respectfully. Yes, Night God Emperor. All the other forces cupped their fists and replied. Everyone, don't worry. With me around, you won't suffer too many losses. The Night God Emperor said indifferently, and then looked at the guardians of the Imperial Court. I heard that the current princess of the imperial court is extremely talented. My descendant, the young emperor, is quite talented. Today, I have come to ask for a karma for him. What do you think? Night God Emperor, this is great news. Hee. The imperial court will naturally be happy to tie the knot with the Night clan. The protectors were taken aback for a moment. Then, a smile appeared on their faces as they responded. Chapter 2757. When the Night God Monarch personally proposed a marriage alliance with the imperial court and the guardians agreed without hesitation, the Emperor's star daughter, who was among the crowd, had a drastic change in her expression. Her heart sank when she heard the guardians' agreement. She looked embarrassed and infuriated at the same time. Her marriage was directly decided by them? Guardians, I don't agree. I'll make my own decision on my marriage. The Emperor's star maiden was filled with rage as she spoke with an ugly expression on her face. The 5 guardians' faces darkened when they saw the Emperor's star daughter objecting. The Night God Monarch also raised his eyebrows. Seeing the Emperor's star daughter rejecting him directly, young Emperor Ye's expression darkened and changed. Night God Monarch, guardians, it's an honor for my daughter to marry young Emperor Yi. Marriage is decided by the parents. As a father, I naturally agree to it. Before they could speak, the Emperor's star daughter's father, Di Haosong, stepped forward and spoke. You're not qualified to make decisions for me. The Emperor's star daughter looked at her father and said with a sullen face, Pa. However, Di Haosong's slap landed on the Emperor's star daughter before she could react. The Emperor's star daughter was stunned as she stared at her father. Night God Monarch, guardians, Haosong didn't discipline his daughter well. I can make the decision for my daughter. It's my honor to become in-laws with young Emperor Yi and the Night clan leader. Di Haosong looked at the Emperor's star daughter coldly as he cupped his fist and spoke to them. What's with the ruckus? Back off. One of the guardians said directly. Yes. Di Haosong responded immediately as he grabbed the Emperor's star daughter and brought her to the back. In terms of cultivation, her father was much stronger than her. Wang Xian frowned slightly as his eyes flickered, but he didn't say a word. My father only has 2 sons and I only have 1. Therefore, I'd like to ask for a concubine for our young emperor. At this moment, the Night clan leader suddenly spoke. Everyone was slightly surprised when they heard what he said. Taking concubines for young Emperor Yi? Everyone from Beichuan clan. I heard that your clan has a lady who has the potential to become a great emperor. Such a genius. I want to raise her to the next level under the training of my Yi clan. What do you think, Beichuan clan leader? The Night clan leader continued. He turned his head and looked in the direction of the Beichuan clan. Frost Goddess, the disciple of the Dragon King, and the Night clan? This is against the Dragon Palace. The Emperor Star Princess seems to have a good relationship with the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. When the people from the various forces heard the words of the Night clan's patriarch, they felt a chill in their hearts. By making the Frost Goddess his son's concubine, he was purposely trying to embarrass the Dragon King. The Night clan was doing this on purpose. Just as they had guessed, a large part of the reason why the leader of the Night clan wanted to propose to the Beichuan clan was to discuss the Dragon King. He deliberately embarrassed the Dragon King. Secondly, the name and talent of the Frost Goddess was indeed worthy of his son. Beside the Night clan leader, young Emperor Ye's eyes lit up as he looked in the direction of the Beichuan clan. When his gaze fell on Beishuang, his eyes were filled with greed. Even as the son of a large sect, he didn't dare to dream of such a goddess. An 8th Order Immortal King realm woman, like her, had a higher status than the princess of the imperial court. This made his heart burn with desire. The sect leader and old ancestor of the North Chuan clan, trembled slightly. They exchanged glances and looked at Beishuang. Clan leader Yi, Beishuang is now the deputy sect leader of our Beichuan clan. We don't have the right to make such a decision for her. Beichuan clan leader said bitterly. Oh, what do you think, Frost Goddess? The Night clan leader looked at Beishuang and asked, if he can defeat me, I can consider it. Beishuang looked coldly at the Night clan leader and said, Are you looking down on the Night Clan? The Night Clan leader looked at Bei Shuang and asked, Indeed, I'm looking down on you if you threaten me like this. Bei Shuang stared at the Night Clan leader and said fearlessly, Frost Goddess, you're wrong to use the word threaten. You should use the word suppress. The Night Clan leader said with a smile, Hee, you'll have to keep suppressing me then. Otherwise, you'll only lose both your wife and your soldiers. Bei Shuang completely ignored his threat and threatened him instead. Bei Shuang's words were clear. If they couldn't suppress her, she would kill young Master Yi. Humph. Her words made the Night Clan leader's face turn cold. All right, she's just a woman. The Night God Emperor said coldly. The Night Clan leader wanted to say something but kept his words. However, no one dares to threaten the Night Clan now. Anyone who disobeys shall die. The Night God Emperor turned to look at Bei Shuang. In an instant, a terrifying aura shot towards Bei Shuang. Bei Shuang's face changed drastically. She didn't expect the Night God Emperor to attack her all of a sudden. Boom! A wave of water elemental laws directly landed on her body, and the terrifying power sent her flying. Desperation and fear flashed in her eyes. Bei Shuang, the North Creek clan leader, and the rest were shocked as they exclaimed. Bam! Bei Shuang crashed into one of the patriarchs of the North Chuan clan. The patriarch of the North Chuan clan spat out a mouthful of blood from the impact, and his body was sent flying for thousands of meters. SSS. At the sight of this, everyone gasped, their faces filled with astonishment. They could sense that the vitality of the Frost Goddess had completely disappeared. Dead. Seeing the Frost Goddess killed, they looked at the Night God Emperor in awe. Some of them glanced at Wang Xian. At the side, Wang Xian closed his eyes and his eyelashes fluttered when he saw Bei Shuang killed. 5 days later, all forces shall gather before the abyss and follow me to conquer it. The Night God Emperor wasn't the least bit affected by Bei Shuang's death. He looked at everyone and said plainly. As soon as he finished his sentence, he disappeared. Everyone looked on blankly as their hearts trembled. This was the majesty of a God Emperor. The goddess of frost had been killed just because she had said something wrong. Perhaps she was implicated by the Dragon King. After all, the Frost Goddess has the potential to become a great emperor. The Night God Emperor wouldn't leave such a hostile goddess alive. An old man from the 9 heavens sect murmured and shook his head. All the supreme talents and demon-like talents were just empty talk before they grew up. Wasn't someone as brilliant as the Frost Goddess killed by the Night God Emperor? Sister Bei Shuang, Bei Shuang, Bei Shuang. At this moment, the voices of the Emperor Stargirl and North Creek clan were heard. Chapter 2758. I don't care how beautiful you are. This is the consequence of threatening our Night Clan. The people from the Night Clan looked at the corpses in front of them and swept a glance across Wang Xian and the rest. Let's go. The leader of the Night Clan said plainly as he flew towards the planet. What a pity. Young Emperor Yi shook his head in pity. Such an unparalleled goddess had turned into a pile of dirt. However, this was also the consequence of looking down on him and the Night Clan. The Night Clan left. 8 Chi Demon Sha and the rest left with the disciples of the Sky Edge. The guardians of the Imperial Court and the experts of the Imperial Court took a glance and left without saying a word. As for the Imperial Court's rule that humans were forbidden from killing each other, it didn't apply to the Emperor God. Moreover, the Imperial Court had already broken this rule to protect the Sky Edge sections. Sister Bei Shuang, Sister Bei Shuang, Bei Shuang. Emperor Star Princess cried out with tears flowing down her cheeks. Sect leader Bei Chuan, old ancestor, and the rest also cried out sorrowfully. Powerless. Facing the Night Clan, facing the Void God Emperor, they were helpless. Emperor Star Princess, I've made the decision. The guardians of the Imperial Court have also made the decision. After the abyss is pacified, you will be married to young Emperor Yi of the Night Clan. Behave yourself during this period. I'll send someone to watch over you. Understand? At this time, Di Haosong walked to the side of the Emperor Star Princess and spoke to her coldly. The Emperor Star Princess lifted her head and stared at him with bloodshot eyes. TSK, don't be ungrateful. Di Haosong said coldly and left immediately. Pass the corpse to me. Wang Xian walked over and said to them, Dragon King, see if you can save Bei Shuang. Bei Shuang, sect leader Bei Chuan said with a sorrowful face. He knew that Bei Shuang had lost all signs of life. She was dead. An emperor god wouldn't leave anyone alive. Wang Xian didn't say a word. He carried Bei Shuang's corpse and flew towards the Dragon Peak. The Emperor's Star Princess hurriedly followed behind. The Dragon King is responsible for her success, and the Dragon King is also responsible for her failure. The Imperial Court's daughter was able to rise because of the Dragon King's cultivation method, but also because of the Dragon King, she was directly killed by the Night God Emperor. The Frost Goddess was killed entirely because of the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Although I don't understand why the Night God Emperor didn't directly attack the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, killing Bei Shuang is also a signal. Even if the Night Clan doesn't destroy the Dragon Palace now, it doesn't mean that they won't do so in the future. The Dragon Palace is going to suffer. The Dragon Palace is already strong enough, especially with its current reputation in the Imperial Star region. The first place of the hero ranking and the merit ranking are both from the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Palace. After the Deep Abyss War, the Dragon Palace could become a force that could rival or even surpass the Night Clan. I didn't expect the Night Clan's ancestor to become a king. It's all fate. Even if the Dragon Palace isn't destroyed, it will probably die down in the future. After all, the Night Clan and the Imperial Court are on good terms. Looking at the departure of the Dragon King and the others, some experts of the major powers discussed in whispers. Right now, the Dragon Palace was very famous in the Imperial Star region. Everyone knew about it, but it was a pity. Facing the orders of the Imperial Court and the Night Clan, it would be extremely difficult for them to escape. Is this the reason why the Dragon King didn't allow us to get close to the Dragon Palace? Did the Dragon King already foresee some things? The Moon Dragon Python group and the Ancient Gods dynasty looked at the Dragon King with complicated expressions. They felt helpless. They were indebted to the Dragon Palace, but they couldn't do anything to help in such a situation. Once they stood on the side of the Dragon Palace, destruction would be waiting for them. They had hundreds of millions of disciples, and they didn't dare to gamble with everyone's lives. Sob sob, Wang Xian, Sister Bei Shuang is dead. Arriving at the Dragon Peak, the Emperor's Star Maiden cried again when she saw Bei Shuang's corpse in Wang Xian's arms. Let's go back to the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian looked at the Emperor's Star Maiden and said. The Emperor's Star Maiden choked with sobs and nodded. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept the Emperor's Star Maiden in the mother nest. Then, he disappeared instantly. Tianjun and the others looked at each other and disappeared as well. Wang. Back in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian released the Emperor's Star Maiden. Do you have any plans for the future? Wang Xian looked at her and asked. I can't marry that young Emperor Yi. The Emperor's Star Maiden's expression changed as she clenched her fists. What about the Imperial Court? Why don't you bring your mother to the Dragon Palace? Wang Xian suggested. All right. The Emperor's Star Maiden gritted her teeth. She didn't hesitate at all. In the vast Imperial Court, even though she was the daughter of the Emperor's Star Maiden, she was just a chess piece. The guardians of the Imperial Court didn't ask for her permission to marry young Emperor Yi. Moreover, her father couldn't be called her father anymore. In the past, it was hatred. Now, it was hatred. Even if a father like her died, she wouldn't even frown. Let's go. Let's save Bei Shuang first. Wang Xian nodded at her and walked into the Dragon King Hall. Wang Xian, you can save Sister Bei Shuang. The Emperor's Star Maiden was stunned for a moment before she exclaimed excitedly. I'll see. Wang Xian smiled faintly. He didn't expect the Night God Emperor to kill Bei Shuang directly. However, Wang Xian couldn't do anything at that time, because he wasn't sure if the Emperor God of the Imperial Court had left. Moreover, the Dragon Palace hadn't made any preparations. Very soon, the Dragon Palace would repay Bei Shuang tenfold. 5 days later, Wang Xian carried Bei Shuang to the Dragon Throne and plucked a Soul Return fetus fruit. There were over 100 Soul Return fetus fruits on the Soul Return branch. Other than Xiaoran, no one else had used one. The Emperor's Star Maiden looked at the fruit curiously. She didn't know the effects of these fruits. She hadn't been to the dragon transformation pool or the dragon field in the dragon palace. Wang Xian had forbidden her from going there, because the Emperor's Star Maiden used to be a member of the imperial court. This fruit is called the soul return fetus fruit. It can bring someone back from the dead. Wang Xian said with a smile when he saw the Emperor's Star Maiden's curious look. Bring someone back from the dead? Is this for real? The Emperor's Star Maiden widened her eyes in shock. Wang Xian didn't say anything. He crushed the fruit and threw it on Bei Shuang. Previously, Xiao Ran could be revived even after his head was taken away. This time, it was easier for Bei Shuang to be revived. Traces of vitality gathered towards Bei Shuang. The Emperor's Star Maiden could clearly feel that Bei Shuang was recovering. With a glance, she could clearly feel that Bei Shuang was a dead person previously. But now, she was like a person in a deep sleep. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Bring someone back from the dead. It was a real revival. She looked at the fruits at the side. There were over 100 of them. There were also close to 100 other fruits. What kind of family was this? It was so heaven-defying. Chapter 2759. Wang. In the Dragon King Hall, Bei Shuang's life force was slowly recovering. At the side, the Emperor's Star Princess stared with her eyes wide open. Her eyes were red, and her mouth was wide open, appearing exceptionally adorable. Gradually, the leaders of the Dragon Palace came to the Dragon King Hall and waited there quietly. Even if the Dragon Palace could save Bei Shuang, they could still feel the murderous aura from the Dragon King. After more than 10 minutes, Bei Shuang let out a sound. She opened her eyes slowly and looked around blankly. This is... She was already looking around in confusion. Wasn't she killed by Emperor Yi? Why is she here? Sister Bei Shuang, you're awake. That's great. That's great. At this moment, Emperor Star Princess cheered. Bei Shuang got up slightly and touched her body. I'm not dead yet, she murmured. You've been saved by Wang Xian. You've come back from the dead. That's amazing. Emperor Star Princess's exclamation continued. Bei Shuang looked at Wang Xian. Wang Xian helped her up gently and looked at her with a smile. Join the Dragon Palace, he said to Bei Shuang. Yes, master. Bei Shuang will listen to you. Bei Shuang nodded her head slowly. Given your physique, you can try the Dragon Transformation Pool. As Wang Xian spoke, he waved his arm and led Bei Shuang and Emperor Star Princess to the Dragon Transformation Pool. What's the effect of the Dragon Transformation Pool? Emperor Star Princess had seen the Dragon Transformation Pool from afar, but she didn't know the details. The Dragon Transformation Pool can transform one into a divine dragon. Of course, it's a little difficult to transform into a real divine dragon. But even an ordinary dragon is exceptionally powerful. The reason why I was willing to accept you as a disciple was because of your physique. If you enter the Dragon Transformation Pool, you'll have a chance to transform into a Frost Divine Dragon, a powerful mutated divine dragon. Wang Xian didn't answer Emperor Star Princess but said to Bei Shuang, Divine Dragon? Master, is the cultivation method you imparted to me the Frost Divine Dragon? Bei Shuang looked at him with flickering eyes. Yes. Wang Xian smiled and nodded. He patted her shoulder and said, Once you enter the Dragon Transformation Pool, you'll be a member of the Dragon Palace forever. Go in. Yes, master. Bei Shuang nodded and flew into the Dragon Transformation Pool without hesitation. There was also some dragon blood inside. Transforming into a divine dragon. Wang Xian, I want to become a divine dragon too. Is it the divine dragon at the pinnacle of the universe? Can I transform into a fairy dragon? At the side, the Emperor Star Maiden's eyes lit up. You're not qualified to transform into a fairy dragon. At the very least, you don't have the looks. Wang Xian looked at her and teased. Humph, how is that possible? I'm a famous goddess in the Imperial Star Field. The Emperor Star Maiden curled her lips. Well, contact your mother. I'll send someone from the Dragon Palace to pick her up. You'd better think it through. You won't be able to go back once you're here. As Wang Xian spoke, coldness flashed in his eyes. I have. If it wasn't for me, my mother would have left the imperial court a long time ago. The Emperor's Star Maiden nodded solemnly, and Wang Xian nodded. With a swift move, he returned to the Dragon King Hall. Dragon King. The group of Dragon Palace leaders greeted him respectfully. We still have 5 days to prepare. Within these 5 days, find a way out and be fully prepared. Also, I'll make the Imperial Court and Night Clan pay a heavy price 5 days later. Wang Xian sat on the dragon throne and roared with a stern face. Rest assured, Dragon King, we'll definitely be well prepared. If we don't eliminate 5 to 6 pinnacle immortal god kings, they'll really think that our dragon palace can crush them easily. Tianjun said with a cold expression. Haha, Big Brother Devilish Orochi said that he'll let you guys witness the strength of the venom horn dragon species. Duju chuckled and said, Hee, I hope that the two fellows, 8-Chi Demon Sha, can open my eyes. Tianjun chuckled. Tianjun, how's the research on spirit arrays going? Wang Xian asked Tianjun. Dragon King, it's done. Everyone has one in the venom horn dragon species have 2. Crush one to return to the Dragon Peak and the other to escape. We haven't chosen the second destination yet. Tianjun replied immediately. Wang Xian nodded and said, then we'll wait for 5 days. Yes, Dragon King. The group of Dragon Palace leaders shouted as a violent aura surged from their bodies. Emperor Star Maiden, who was flying over, widened her eyes as she felt the aura. She could sense that there were no less than 8 pinnacle immortal god kings. Is Wang Xian going to start a war with the Night Clan? Emperor Star Maiden murmured. Time passed, and the entire Imperial Star Domain was in an uproar over the past 2 days. The old ancestor of the Night Clan becoming an emperor shook the entire Imperial Star Domain. The birth of a god emperor was enough to shock everyone. God emperors were high up in the sky, invincible existences. Now that the old ancestor of the Night Clan had become an emperor, it could be said that the Imperial Star Domain had another epic-level force. Apart from the birth of the God Emperor of the Night Clan, the news of Emperor God Emperor killing the Goddess of Frost had also caused quite a stir. The Goddess of Frost, anyone with a bit of strength would know that she was a demon-like prodigy. She was said to have the potential to become a great emperor, but now she had been killed by Emperor God Emperor. This made many people feel sorry for the Goddess of Frost. Some even said that Emperor God Emperor was too cruel. Why didn't he let a woman go? But very quickly, a public opinion appeared on the artificial intelligence system. The Goddess of Frost had threatened the Night Clan and was killed by Emperor God Emperor. This public opinion quickly overshadowed all the criticism. This was the Imperial Court controlling the public opinion. The artificial intelligence system was controlled by the Imperial Court. It was too easy for the Imperial Court to change some things. And on the artificial intelligence system, there were also some comments about the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace is extremely cruel. They assassinated the experts and disciples of the Sky Edge sect, causing the Sky Edge sect to suffer heavy losses. Now that the Sky Edge sect is on good terms with the Night Clan, the Dragon Palace will soon be in trouble. The Dragon Palace is very strong, but they don't care about the other sections. They killed countless disciples of the Sky Edge sect. All sorts of comments appeared, causing some people on G now to be surprised. Even their admiration for the Dragon Palace and the shock of the Dragon Palace's power gradually disappeared. The Imperial Court was subtly changing some of the public opinion. And in these few days, there was another thing that caught everyone's attention on the artificial intelligence system. Emperor God Emperor of the Night Clan was going to lead a group of experts into the deep abyss to kill abyssal demons and solve the crisis of humanity as soon as possible. Everyone was looking forward to the war that was about to break out. And Emperor God Emperor was undoubtedly a great hero of the Imperial Star Domain. Everyone worshipped the Void God Emperor. Chapter 2760. It's been 4 days. How are the preparations going? Wang Xian sat in the Dragon King Hall and asked the group of leaders of the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, everything is ready. Below, Prime Minister Turtle said with a smile. Since everything is ready, let's head over. He stood up slowly, his eyes gleaming. Over the past few days, Wang Xian had seen the situation at the front line of the Imperial Court and the information on the artificial intelligence system. However, Dragon Palace did nothing. The artificial intelligence system was controlled by the imperial court, and they controlled the public opinion. However, the winner was always right. If one day, Dragon Palace could destroy the imperial court, then Dragon Palace would be the king of the Imperial Star region. Everyone was in awe and worshipped them. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle and the rest nodded. Roving Heavens and the rest immediately followed. Xiao Xian, be careful. Wang Xian, be careful. The group of girls and Emperor Star Maiden saw Wang Xian leaving and knew that there would be a huge battle. They were slightly worried. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Wang Xian looked at them and smirked. He teleported to the front line of the Imperial Court through the teleportation formation. Dragon King, this is some information about tomorrow. Please do it. When Wang Xian arrived at the Imperial Court's frontline teleportation planet, a staff member from the Imperial Court seemed to be prepared and handed them a piece of yellow paper. Oh? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and read the content. The content was simple. Wang Xian had already received similar information. The strength of Dragon Palace was written on it. It was the same strength as the previous time. Below it was a reminder that the number of Dragon Palace's disciples should not be less than 2/3. At that time, there might be a roll call to see if they could send such strength. If they deliberately sent less people, they would be punished by the Imperial Court. As for how they would be punished, there was no mention. Hee. Wang Xian looked at the content and chuckled. The Imperial Court was obviously in cahoots with the Night Clan. He moved his palm slightly, and the paper turned into ashes. He glanced at the newly built teleportation formation planet and the Merit Treasure Exchange Palace beside it. His eyes shone with a cold light. In a flash, he arrived at the Dragon Peak and stood on the command platform. Du Jio, I'll leave the Merit Exchange Palace to you tomorrow. Wang Xian said to Du Jio, who was beside him. It's Dragon King. Du Jio nodded. Based on the news they had received over the past few days, 4 out of the 5 Imperial Dynasty protectors would lead the disciples into the abyss tomorrow. A protector was sitting in the Merit Palace. All the treasures were guarded by him. Over at the Night Clan, an Undying God King Pinnacle expert was guarding the Cold Night Island. The Night Clan only sent 3 Undying God King Pinnacle experts into the abyss. This was good news for the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian looked at each plan and linked to ensure that there were no mistakes. The Dragon King and the others have arrived, haven't they? At the same time, Night God Emperor was sitting in a palace on a planet in the Imperial Court. Ahead of them were the 2 old ancestors of Heaven's Edge, 8 Branches, and Demon Fiend, the 3 Undying God King Peak experts of Night Clan, and the 4 Undying God King Peak experts of Imperial Court. They stood respectfully in front. Night God Emperor asked them plainly, "They're here, Lord Night God Emperor. Everything is ready for tomorrow's battle. Dragon Palace Master will attack the central position. When we attack tomorrow, that Void God Emperor in the depths will definitely order all the clans to work together. By then, the most dangerous place will be the central region." One of the Imperial Court protectors said, "Once the battle starts tomorrow, our old ancestors might be pinned down by that Void God Emperor. By then, we have to pay attention to prevent Dragon Palace from overreacting." The Night Clan chief raised his eyebrows and said, "Dragon Palace shouldn't dare to offend the Imperial Court and Night Clan. This is no different from digging their own grave. However, if we send Dragon Palace to the central position for tomorrow's battle, they will definitely be unhappy. By then, we can ask Night God Emperor to appease them. For example, promise that if Dragon Palace accumulates enough merit points, we can let them off." One of the Imperial Court protectors suggested. I'm not a man who goes back on his words. I'll do what I say." Night God Emperor knitted his eyebrows and said coldly, "Lord Night God Emperor, don't worry. If Dragon Palace accumulates many merit points, they will also suffer great losses. By then, if you let them off, we, the Imperial Court, can make a move. We can easily wipe them out." The Imperial Court protector said, "Sooner or later, we will wipe out Dragon Palace. It doesn't matter who does it. By then, we, the Sky Edge sect, hope that we can attack together." Orochi said with a stern face, "That's not a problem. By then, the Dragon Palace might suffer great losses, but the two of you can easily wipe them out. Hee hee. One of the imperial court protectors said with a smile, "That's even better. By then, I'll hang the Dragon King's head." Emo Shah, who was at the side, roared with a murderous look. "All right, a small dragon palace isn't worth our time. Guarding the Abyss battlefield is the most important thing. Tomorrow, try to kill more Immortal King, peak Immortal King Abyss demons." Night God Emperor said plainly. He didn't put Dragon Palace in his eyes. With his current God Emperor realm, he could wipe out Dragon Palace with a flick of his finger. He didn't put it in his eyes at all. Lord Night God Emperor is right. A small Dragon Palace isn't worth our attention. The main thing is to deal with the Abyss demons tomorrow. We can't be careless. If we're unlucky tomorrow, there might be casualties. The Imperial Court Protector agreed. Then, the group started to discuss how to deal with the Abyss demons tomorrow. Just as they were discussing how to deal with the Abyss demons tomorrow, far away in the starry sky, one of the three major islands of the Imperial Star region, Pingy Island. At this moment, half of the Pingy Island was already swallowed by the Abyss. Located in the Pingy Island, in front of an Imperial Court's territory, was a vast and deep abyss. This was another part of the Abyss battlefield. At the front line of the battlefield, countless powerful battleships, war machines, and burning stars lined up in front of the entrance of the Abyss. Looking at it, it was an incomparably shocking sight. What kind of scale was this? What kind of battlefield was this? In this starry sky, the air was filled with a cold atmosphere. Compared to this place, the battle on Cold Night Island was simply an ordinary one. This front line gathered 80% of the entire Imperial Court's power. There were at least 1 million God Emperor experts gathered. Deep in the abyss in front of the front line, there was a vast abyss ocean floating in the abyss. The sky-blue ocean was deep and viscous. At this moment, in the center of the abyss ocean, there was a huge beast floating. Chapter 2761. Master, Major Discovery, Major Discovery. The gigantic beast was floating in the deep abyss. All of a sudden, a voice reverberated in the surroundings. Growl, growl. The gigantic beast let out a low growl and looked to the side. In front of it, the human, who was even smaller than an ant, was flying towards it. Hee hee, Brother Xiaolon. I have something important to report to Master. The figure came to the front of the gigantic beast and giggled. The gigantic beast exuded a grayish aura. Just one of its eyes was 1,000 times the size of the human. Its entire body extended for at least 100 kilometers, and its majestic aura surged to the surroundings from time to time. It was a true horrifying gigantic beast in the galaxy. The gigantic beast looked at the figure in front of it and opened its mouth slightly. In its mouth, one could see a palace. It was a palace that occupied a radius of at least 10 kilometers and was located within its body. Tum-sun, what did you discover? At this moment, a lady flew out from within. She also exuded a grayish aura and looked extremely mysterious. Master, look. Hurry up and look. The Tum-sun looked at the lady with respect in his eyes. He immediately moved closer with a giggle and held a smart brain in his hand. The smart brain could no longer connect to the signal. However, it had downloaded a lot of content in advance. Master, Dragon Palace, Dragon King. Look, look. The Tum-sun said to the lady with beaming eyes. What? The lady trembled as she looked at the information on the smart brain with excitement. After some time, she closed her eyes slightly. I knew that Xiao Xian would come to this galaxy. The lady was Lan Qingyue. Her eyes flickered as she spoke. And the gigantic beast was Xiao Lan. Master, what should we do now? Should we contact the Dragon King? Boo-hoo, I want to see the heroic figure of my male master. What kind of existence is he to be able to forge such a powerful dragon body and allow me to obtain the body of the Earth Divine Dragon? The Tum-sun said in an exaggerated manner. Lan Qingyue cast an indifferent glance at him and pondered deeply. Go to the border between the Imperial Court and Yilong and pass me a message. She looked at the Tum-sun and instructed. Yes, master. The scion immediately nodded. If I rush over now, I'll be able to reach there in 10 hours. Take Xiao Zhai and rush over from the abyss. Isn't the Cold Night Island going to attack the abyss tomorrow? Meet up with Xiao Xian and the others then. Lan Qingyue said with flickering eyes. Master, if I bring Little Mansion over, the moment we appear, the Imperial Court God Emperors will definitely know that we are lacking a Void God Emperor. They might attack us. The Tisonian said with a frown. Hee, do they dare to enter the Sea of Abyss? Moreover, once they know that there are 2 Emperor God-level existences on Cold Night Island, they will definitely head over to provide support. Lan Qingyue said coldly. Then, Master, please be careful. I will lead the small mansion through the abyss. The Tucson pondered for a moment before nodding. In fact, Lan Qingyue's actions were a little risky. He brought the small manor away, and once the Imperial Court found out, the God Emperors of the Imperial Court would definitely attack. At that time, Xiao Lan would protect Lan Qingyue. However, the other races of the Abyss race might be massacred. Once too many of his subordinates died, it would be even more difficult to deal with the Imperial dynasty. However, as long as I can contact the Dragon King, it's worth it, he mumbled. He knew the position of the Dragon King in his master's heart. He also knew that the Dragon King wasn't any simpler than his master. After all, his divine dragon body was formed from the blood of the Dragon King. Little Mansion. He moved and exited Xiao Lan's mouth before shouting towards the outside. Little Mansion, Master has instructed us to go. He shouted towards the bottom of the Sea of Abyss. Woo-woo. At this moment, a reply was heard. 2 huge eyes were glowing brightly. The pupils were much smaller than Xiao Lan. However, the size of Little Mansion was completely different from Xiao Lan. If Xiao Lan was in the shape of a whale, then Little Mansion looked like an ancient dinosaur on Earth. It had a long tail and sharp claws. Its entire body was filled with spikes, making it look even more ferocious. Little Mansion, Lan Qingyue's second Kuan. If Xiao Lan only looked huge and terrifying, then Little Mansion looked even more ferocious. Woo-woo. Little Mansion came to the front of the Tisonian. It was half the size of Xiao Lan. It looked towards Xiao Lan. Woo-woo. Xiao Lan nodded at it. Woo-woo. Little Mansion moaned softly and looked at the Tisonian. Let's go. The Tisonian shouted. It came to Little Mansion and pointed in a direction. Let's go. Wong. Little Mansion's body shook and a black hole appeared in front of it. It was unbelievable to be able to teleport directly in the abyss. Time passed slowly. At the front line of the Imperial Court on the Cold Night Island, a tense atmosphere was born. Disciples of various forces floated in the air and lined up in the surroundings. Some experts instructed everyone while some forces lined up at the last minute. The next battle was definitely going to be a brutal one. Everyone knew that many people would die in this battle. The last-minute instructions and lining up were to reduce the casualties of the disciples. After all, this was the first time they were facing a large abyss race since they came to the abyss. Previously, even a force like the Nine Clouds Alliance didn't go against a large abyss race. Dragon King, it's almost time. In the Dragon Peak, Tianjun looked at the time and said, Wang Xian nodded and looked across the entire Dragon Peak. There was a total of 70,000 Immortal Kings. This was only what they showed. There were still 100,000 Immortal Kings and Dragon Palace disciples waiting for an opportunity. This time, the Dragon Palace had sent out most of their subordinates. All forces, gather here. At this moment, a voice sounded. Wang Xian looked to the side. A high platform suddenly appeared in front of him. For pinnacle Immortal Kings of the Imperial Court stood on both sides of the platform. All forces, gather here. Set aside the war machines and conduct a roll call. Another voice sounded again. Conduct a roll call? Are they going to count the number of people from each force? Should be. This is the first time the Night God Emperor has ordered all forces to send 2/3 of their forces. Some people in the surroundings heard the voice and whispered to each other as they flew forward. Let's go, we'll head over too. Wang Xian looked across and said to all the disciples, yes. Tianjun and the disciples of the Dragon Palace flew out of the Dragon Peak immediately. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.